Guaranteed human.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. Hello there. It's the John Kobylt Show. We're on again every day at 3 o'clock, 3 to 6. And every day after the radio show is the podcast, which is the same as the radio show. And it's just recorded and posted, so you can pick up on whatever you missed. And that's at on the iHeartRadio app, John Kobylt Show on Demand. One more place, and if you're on YouTube right now, you know where it's at. We are broadcasting, live streaming on YouTube. You can access that. It's the John Kobylt channel at youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. John Kobylt channel. You can subscribe. You can become a member. There'll be some benefits to being a member shortly. And we're headed towards 10,000 subscribers. So thank you for showing up, whether it's on the radio, streaming, podcasting, or live streaming on YouTube, all around the world. Let's get the biggest event in the last 24 hours, as far as California, has been the last debate between really the majority or some of the worst candidates you'll ever see running for a major office. I mean, and it's really scary that one of these guys potentially could, I mean, they're a clown level. All right. This is bad stuff. I don't know what's going to happen, because I was just talking to somebody in the hallway. It's like, there's a lot of like bad stuff coming out from Javier Becerra. Because he's a hack. There's a lot of corruption swirling around him. There's a lot of incompetence. Nobody likes him. Even when he was in the Biden administration, nobody likes him. Everybody thought he was an incompetent boob. Even Joe Biden. But he snuck up on things after Swalwell was forced out of the race. Say, people don't know who he is. The ballots came in 10 days ago. I don't know, what percentage that came in were from people who were absolutely sure who they were voting for no matter what. I don't like early voting because a lot of stuff comes out in the last month. I know people are asking us for a voter guide. It's like there's no voter guide until the week of Election Day, because I just don't believe in it. I don't. You want to be a Swalwell voter and then that comes out? It's like, no. You want to be a Becerra voter, and then you find out just how incompetent he was and how there's corruption all over the place in his office. It's like, no. Then you're stuck with a loser dud vote. It's a stupid system. I don't know why it became so difficult to take out, 5 or 10 minutes of your day and go walk into a voting booth. I just don't get it. I never have. Why is that so controversial? If you're too lazy to go to the voting booth, then you're too lazy to be a citizen. And you don't get a vote. You don't get a say. Geez, we got enough people who don't want to work. Now they don't even want to walk or drive to a voting booth. This is ridiculous. So Becerra, nobody really knows what he's about. And if he becomes governor, that's going to be a foul day. Now, the other guy who's up there is Tom Steyer, who I don't know anybody likes him at all. I mean, whack jobs like him because he's so extreme on a lot of things. He's a weirdo guy. He's strange. I don't believe anything he says. Everything about his life was making money in oil and gas and making money owning immigration prisons. And then suddenly he wants to abolish ICE and he wants to abolish oil drilling. And it's like, you're just a big stinking phony. You're an old, bored guy. You're worth a couple of $1 billion, and you don't know what to do. And you realized you don't want to move to another state, so you're in California, and you got to try to win the Democratic primary by appealing to all the extremists. That's his strategy, and figures he can blow millions of dollars on nonsense commercials, and he'll get to be governor. And then the other leader is Steve Hilton, and Steve Hilton is rational. Steve Hilton is intelligent, rational, and everything he says makes sense. He's got a different personality than Spencer Pratt, but the thing Pratt and Hilton have in common is they're realistic and they're explaining exactly what you see with your own eyes. There isn't any BS. there isn't any nonsense. There isn't evasion. It's like, no, this is the state we're in. And this is what you must do in order to make things better. And the rest of the candidates are just taking up space now. Katie Porter's going nowhere. Matt Mahan, who I dislike the least among the Democrats, is going nowhere. Who else is in? Oh, Villaraigosa is still on his farewell tour. And I mentioned this yesterday. Chad Bianco is a great guy. We've had him on the show many times as sheriff of Riverside County. But at the moment, I just don't see that he's got the votes. And I would hate for Bianco to siphon off so many votes that Hilton doesn't get in. And then we have a Becerra-Steyer final. So you got to take that seriously if you're a Bianco supporter who hasn't voted yet. Your guy is great, and he would make a great governor, and I'd vote for him at any time. But we got a situation here where Hilton has significantly more votes. We're not going to get Bianco and Hilton in the finals. And if Hilton falls slightly short, which is possible, then we get Steyer and Becerra, and Bianco still won't be governor. So to me, it just seems like time to go for the only, outside of Bianco, the only rational guy left is Hilton, who's got a chance to go somewhere. Mahan, like I said, is somewhat rational, but he's too far back.
Javier Baccaria.
Yeah, and then probably the dumbest of the group, and I mean this, the dumbest of the group is Javier Baccaria. How's that? It's like everything's upside down. The smart guys are struggling, and the dud is number one. Let's start with a lot of the clips we have here involve either Javier Baccaria or the other candidates going after him. And the first one I'm going to play now, there is undoubtedly, incontrovertibly, a gigantic amount of fraud in the healthcare system. The hospice story being just one piece. Clearly there is. And the only guy denying it is Newsom because he's responsible. And I keep telling you, Baccaria is an extension of Newsom. So wouldn't you know, he is not going to admit that there's anything going wrong here. Let's play cut number one.
As governor, how would you crack down on healthcare fraud in the state? You have 1 minute.
Ryan, the same way I did it when I was Attorney General. We established a bureau that dealt with Medi-Cal fraud, working with the federal government. Unfortunately, Trump is a problem because Trump took $1 trillion out of the healthcare system, out of the Medicare, or the Medicaid and the Medi-Cal system. Trump is now trying to deprive California of another $1 billion in healthcare for Medi-Cal. He doesn't have the right to do that. You still have to prove that there's been fraud and abuse. He is in advance taking money, even though he hasn't proven in court what he's done. So we should go after him, the way I had to do over 120 times when I was Attorney General. We will fight to get those tax subsidies under the Affordable Care Act back for California families. We will fight to make sure we get the money that we send to the federal treasury for Medi-Cal in California, because otherwise 3 million Californians are in jeopardy of losing their health care. We won't let Trump get in our way. And whether it's the Trump gas tax, because he's increased the price by going to war in Iran, or whether it's the tariffs that are taxed, we're going to fight against Trump.
How many times did he mention Trump? Good Lord, the condition of California has nothing to do with Trump. There is a ton of waste and fraud in California. They've already done the investigations. You notice that snivelly little phrase he used? Oh, they have to prove it in court? No, they don't. No, they've done their own investigations. I mean, Steve Hilton has done a pretty good investigation just with his relatively small staff. And he's found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud throughout the California government. It really is that way. You saw Dr. Oz and J.D. Vance just yesterday or the day before, and they were closing 800 hospices here in California, and virtually no one complained. The hospice owners didn't complain. They moved to other states. We are giving away $13 billion to illegal aliens for health care. $13 billion, including the criminals. You think there's any fraud there? The whole program shouldn't exist. There should be not $1 for illegal alien health care. Certainly not for the criminals, not for the ones who were already told to leave the country. Trump. He's not very bright. There's so much more to all these issues. And I guess he's got a good beat on the electorate. There's that many stupid, emotionally unstable people where if they just hear that name, he's going to fight. Honestly, we are a bunch of buffoons. The whole state. We're just tens of millions of buffoons at this point. If that's your leading candidate. We come back, we'll get into more of that, the healthcare, with Javier Baccaria. And then Baccaria is being asked about his chief of staff and Newsom's chief of staff. They're both going to prison. They both pleaded guilty this week to corruption that was going on while they were in Newsom and Baccaria's office. That's coming up. Playing clips from the debate last night. And in for Deborah Mark, we have Regina D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. President Trump says he has not decided whether to move forward with a major U.S. arms sale to Taiwan after his summit with China's president. California state employees will be required to return to office work 4 days a week, and President Trump may drop his lawsuit over his leaked tax returns. Southland weather from KFI brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Today, cloudy with highs in the 60s to 80s. We're going to a crash on the 5 in Norwalk.
This one's along the southbound side, and it's coming up at Carmenita. They've cleared this wreck out of lanes, but overall slowing remains all the way from Alameda out of Burbank. Garden Grove, a crash on the 22 eastbound at Fairview. Carpool, 2 left lanes are blocked with a backup growing from Brookhurst. Also out to the drive into the Cajon Pass. This is the 15 northbound. That's really loading up now, starting at the 210 freeway, heading northbound all the way to the 138 with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Angel Martinez.
It's Conway here. If you're retired or near retirement, this is what most people missed last year. The S&P last year was up about 16%. Gold climbed 65%, and silver surged more than 144%. And the conditions behind that shift are not going away soon. Debt, inflation, global instability. Golden Crest Metals is offering a free information kit to show how anybody can add physical gold or silver to an IRA or a 401k tax and penalty free. GoldenCrestMetals.com or 833-362-3843. 833-362-3843.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This report is sponsored by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
Sometimes running a successful commercial contracting business means having too many mundane tasks to manage and too little time to keep your business growing. ServiceTitan offers AI-powered tools and automations that seamlessly connect and orchestrate your workflow, start to finish. From the back office to the field, across every job, every site, and every task. ServiceTitan gives commercial contractors powerful features to boost efficiency and take their businesses to the next level. ServiceTitan, AI for the trades. Visit ServiceTitan.com today to learn more.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
I took Mom to catch a ball game. Is it time to pick her up yet? And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Morongo is the proud sponsor of the Ontario Tower Buzzers and Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Take in a game, then come to Morongo and play more games. It's the perfect doubleheader.
Number 4.
Don't pay high prices for gas. Morongo's Travel Center always has the lowest price gas around.
3.
Poolside playback. Get ready to rock with the best tribute bands in SoCal every Thursday at Oasis Pool.
And the number 2.
Tommy Bahama gift giveaway. Get a stainless steel water bottle and cup set when you earn 500 points playing your favorite games. May 19th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And the number 1 reason.
It's finally back. Smoking good times. 3 cigars, scotch tasting, a food spread, and live music. May 17th, 5 p.m.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times.
Tim Conway Jr.
How much walking a day? Do you do it you measure it in distance or in time?
I prefer time. Distance is highly variable depending on your capability.
Tomorrow afternoon at 4 on KFI AM 640.
30 minutes, 4 days a week.
But when you say that to radio people, they want to hang up on you.
I don't know what to tell you. You asked the question. What do you want out of me?
More stimulating talk.
Hello, I'm Robert Smigel. I did lots of things. Cartoons on SNL, Conan stuff, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, some movies. But now I'm past my peak. So I'm hosting a podcast, Humor Me with Robert Smigel and Friends. Each week, me and my favorite comedians, writers, and whatnots help regular people just like you, presuming you're regular, who have some project or task that they'd like us to help make funnier.
Search Humor Me on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
One of the impactful candidates for governor is going to join us live on the show, and we'll ask, when do you drop out?
Show starts Monday at 9.
We got $1,000 giving away now.
Now is your opportunity to win $1,000. Yes! Just enter the nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills, Bills. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Bills, that's the word. Go to KFIAM640.com/cash and enter it. If you win, you get an email. Check your junk and spam folder too. And there's a new winning keyword every hour, every weekday. Starts in the 9 a.m. hour all the way to the 5 p.m. hour. And next chance to win here at 420 at KFI. And we're live streaming on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Live on YouTube, complete with comments in a chat room. And we'll read some of the comments later on in the hour. Oh, we got 2 rounds of the Moist Line today as well, 520 and 550.
Come on, let's go.
And we're listening to some of the cuts from the debate yesterday. Hilton and Bianco on the Republican side, and then the 5 Democrats, Becerra and Steyer, who are close to the top. And then you've got Matt Mahan, Viragosa, and Mrs. Potato Head, Katie Porter. So we got a lot of well, let's go to Hilton, who is challenged by one of the moderators about healthcare being a right. And then he turns around and goes after Becerra. So play cut number 2 here.
What do you say to voters who believe healthcare is a right and not a privilege? You have 1 minute.
Well, I don't think it's fair that California taxpayers who can barely afford their own health coverage should be paying for the health care of citizens of other countries. And if you look at the record of Javier, it's exactly what Chad was just saying, that you cannot believe that any change will come from these people. He, as health secretary, dismantled the unit and HHS that was supposed to crack down on fraud, billions of dollars of fraud as a result of his rule as HHS secretary. And there's another point I think we have to acknowledge. We learned today that Javier, implicated in this corruption scandal, today we learned that he knew about illegal and improper payments from his campaign account to his former chief of staff. Honestly, it pains me to say it because I like you personally, Javier, but you shouldn't be on this stage. You shouldn't be in this race. You should be preparing your criminal defense.
It's true. They got rid of all the rules when Becerra was the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So remember when Becerra addressed this question. He's blamed everything on Trump. He's the one who wiped out the rules when he was Biden's secretary. And that started the avalanche of fraud. So what Trump did coming into office, and this is the right thing to do, is they started shutting down the money supply to California because there was too many billions of dollars. I mean, they're blowing $13 billion on illegal alien health care. Remember $32 billion in unemployment insurance money went to criminals around the world. 85% of the money went overseas. So, because that was the COVID era. Becerra was in charge of a lot of this during the COVID era, and they dismantled all the normal security precautions to tamp down the fraud. They just didn't exist. The only way you could end up losing tens of billions of dollars is when there's absolutely no vetting of anyone who makes a claim for anything. Hey, I'm out of work. Here's some money. Hey, I'm sick. Here's some money. Hey, I just started up a hospice. Here's some money. That's what it was. You just had to fill out a form online and you got a lot of money and it added up into tens of billions of dollars. And that's the truth. And that was Becerra doing his part from Washington, D.C. So, yeah, they shut the spigot off here. They should. And by the way, $13.5 billion to illegal aliens. We can debate this. Is illegal alien, is healthcare a right or a privilege? It is not a right for people who have no right to be living here. I mean, isn't that obvious? If you don't have a right to legally exist in the United States, how could you have a right to our tax money to pay for your health care? No, obviously no. But Newsom's giving away $13 billion every year. Well, that's garbage. That's wrong. If you don't have the right to exist here, you certainly don't have the right to take my money and your money to pay for your health care. That's criminal. It's a criminal operation. And Becerra's not going to change that. They've asked him, is there anything you're going to do differently than Newsom? No. Then he starts shouting about Trump like he's got Tourette syndrome. So eventually, Becerra tried a response to Hilton, play cut 3.
Mr. Becerra, you'd like to respond? You have 30 seconds.
Sure. With friends like that, who needs enemies, right? First, it's hard to respond to lies. We did not dismantle. We actually increased oversight. In fact, what we did was we increased oversight over nursing homes because nursing homes had been the place where more deaths occurred as a result of COVID. So we actually increased oversight. And what I will tell you is this, the record speaks for itself. Steve, under my watch, we went to more than 300 million Americans who had healthcare coverage. That was far beyond what Donald Trump, your daddy, gave us. And we are going to continue to move forward in California.
That is total nonsense. And this is why these debates are next to worthless. Because anybody could blurt out anything. And then the bell rings. And everybody has to go to the next class. Let me see here. Let's get Chad Bianco in here. Because this is important. Then we'll do the news. Bianco was asked about all the nonprofits who are stealing lots of money. Like in the homeless industrial complex and also with healthcare. Let's play cut 6.
You have said, as governor, quote, every single bit of money going to nonprofits and NGOs for homelessness ends the day I take over. So the question is, how would that impact your county? You have 1 minute.
It will impact them for a few minutes while they reach out and say, this is what we're doing, and you're going to cause all of these people to be put back on the street, and then we will give them their money back. And then the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of NGOs and nonprofits that don't come asking for their money back and showing us how many people are going to be affected, will arrest all of those, because that's where the waste, the fraud, and the abuse is happening in the homeless industrial complex. This is not about homes. It's never been about homes. We take a different approach in Riverside County. We actually offer them the mental health and the drug treatment that they need and the alcohol treatment that they need. We do it very different, and it involves arrest. We put them in the jail. I don't want them there, but that's the first start. And then we get them into the housing, the transitional housing. We get them into the care that they need. We get them into mental health treatment. We get them into drug and alcohol treatment so we can help them get rid of their addiction, get rid of their mental illness state that they find themselves in, to get them back to the homes and family that they already have.
Yeah, that's right. He's absolutely right on that. You offer them help, they say no, you put them in jail, and you offer the help again. And then a lot of them will take the help. And then you clear up their addictions, you get them treated for mental health care, you take it from there. Why is that so complicated? Well, because doing it the way that Newsom and Bass does it means billions and billions of dollars going to these criminal nonprofits. I'm sorry, the whole system is run by criminals. It is. You don't want to believe it? That's your money going out the window. You don't see anything getting better. They don't want it to get better. All the money they'd lose if it got better. That's why, going back to Trump and Becerra, you got to cut off the spigot. You just got to say no more money. Prove that you're helping somebody. A lot of these nonprofits can't because they aren't. All right, more coming up. We've got Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
President Trump says he has not decided whether to move forward with a major U.S. arms sale to Taiwan after his trip to China. Former U.S. Ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, says U.S. law requires Washington to provide Taiwan with defensive weapons. No president since Jimmy Carter has negotiated those sales through Beijing.
So I think right now, President Trump has to approve this arms sale package. It's the best way to prevent a war, by the way, by stiffening Taiwan's defense.
China opposes the deal, saying U.S. ties with Taiwan remain a major issue in relations between Washington and Beijing. California state employees will need to work in their offices 4 days a week starting July 1st. Governor Newsom says he knows change is hard.
Everybody has unique criteria, circumstances. By the way, we try to accommodate for that. 4 days a week.
Newsom's office says almost all state departments have enough office space for everyone to return. People in California won't be hearing or seeing the infamous Cars for Kids commercials in the future.
A judge in Orange County pulled the plug on the ads. You know the ones, I'm not singing it, ruling they violated false advertising laws. A California resident sued after donating his car and learning the bulk of the money actually goes to Orthodox Jewish programs focused on Jewish heritage camps and outreach. Based on the ads, the man believed his money was going to help needy kids. In her ruling, the judge said the charity's jingle concealed its primary religious and geographic focus. Any future ads must disclose where the money's going, and they can't include any kids. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
President Trump is reportedly planning to drop his $10 billion lawsuit over the leak of his tax returns in exchange for a fund to compensate alleged victims of government weaponization during the Biden administration. ABC's Stephen Portnoy says congressional Democrats are outraged by reports the fund could total $1.7 billion.
It's utterly fraudulent what they're doing there.
It's another grift by the President of the United States.
I mean, it's outright corruption.
Pennsylvania Republican Brian Fitzpatrick says he opposes the Secret Service's request for $1 billion, a portion of which would be used to secure the new White House ballroom.
Shows a lack of priorities.
Fitzpatrick's opposition could be critical if Democrats remain united. We'll check the 22 freeway next.
If you're hurt in a car accident, a motorcycle crash, or a trucking collision, even a dog bite, what comes next is usually the same. It's pain you didn't expect, appointments you didn't plan for, and insurance companies that say they're there to help, but they're really focused on protecting themselves. And that's why I tell listeners about Sweet James. They help people when injuries are real, stress is high, and the insurance companies already have a plan and you don't. If you've been hurt in an accident, don't face it alone. Let the attorneys at Sweet James be by your side and help you recover. With offices throughout California, including Los Angeles, they can't guarantee or predict the outcome of a case, but it's important to have Sweet James by your side. So here's the number for a free consultation. It's 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-9-000-000, or go to sweetjames.com.
Southland weather from KFI today. Cloudy with highs in the 60s to 80s. It's 71 degrees in La Palma, 70 in Orange. We're going to a crash on the 22 in Garden Grove.
So this one is along the eastbound side of the 22. It's just past Harbor, and that's where the carpooling two left lanes have been blocked. Delays are backing up all the way from Brookhurst. We're looking at Commerce with a stall, 5 southbound coming up on Washington, taking out the 2 left lanes. Overall delays for that 5 southbound. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It is a Friday afternoon. We're seeing delays out of Burbank from Alameda. Let's look at Burbank, 134 eastbound. That is slowing as well away from Buena Vista as you continue in stretches towards Glendale Avenue in Glendale. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit, 800-225-8100.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
Therapy Thursday is now a podcast. Listen to me, Ellen Kay, Ryan Mano, and therapist Sarah Dash on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Therapy Thursday, the podcast.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Again, that's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Wilshire Law Firm. Born in L.A., built in L.A., fighting for L.A. We stand up for the people who make it great. Wilshire Law Firm is in Los Angeles, California.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
OPO Injury Lawyers, rooted in this community, relentless in justice. OPOLaw.com.
Imagine a scenario where you or your loved one faces a threat. Your first instinct might be to use lethal force, but it's crucial to consider a less lethal alternative first to avoid the legal complications. Introducing Byrna. Byrna's less lethal launcher. This device is equipped with chemical irritants and kinetic rounds, designed to incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes, providing a critical window for you to escape. Here's a real-life account from a Byrna customer named Adam. While heading to his night shift, Adam encountered a road-raging driver who swerved dangerously, stopped abruptly, and aggressively approached him. Adam dialed 911 and protected himself with his Byrna launcher. He aimed a laser at the aggressor's chest, which immediately de-escalated the situation. The driver returned to his vehicle and awaited the police. That night, Byrna saved 2 lives. Byrna is legal in all 50 states, requires no background checks, and can be conveniently shipped directly to your door. Over 750,000 units sold. Visit Byrna.com. That's BYRNA.com.
iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose.
$5,000 to spend in your classroom.
Thanks to you, more than 50,000 teachers have been recognized for the amazing work they do in classrooms across America each and every day.
$5,000 in school supplies. Congratulations.
We're helping get teachers the resources they need to inspire the next generation.
All the people who help our children to learn and thrive, it's a partnership. We can't do it by ourselves.
Just go to iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
KFI.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio, the John Kobylt Show. Welcome. We're on every day from 3 to 6, and then after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. You can watch us on YouTube right now. You have to go to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. We have our own channel, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And you can subscribe. You can become a member. Members will get benefits down the road a little bit. And we are playing clips from the debate last night between the 2 Republicans, Hilton and Bianco, and the 5 Democrats, Becerra and Steyer and Mrs. Potato Head and Matt Mahan and Villaraigosa. And Javier Baccaria was pummeled the entire debate by all sides.
Javier Baccaria.
And here's why. He's been a nobody all his life. Probably got appointed to one thing or another because of DEI reasons. Appointed to be Attorney General by Newsom. appointed to be Health and Human Services Secretary by Biden. Was a congressman for a long time of no particular, of no note. Got no reputation for anything. He's got no record of that he did anything in particular. He was just another vote, another hack, and sitting in the stands. But he runs for governor because what else is he going to do, right? These guys, they get older. They can't give up the game. So, Steyer runs for governor because he's rich and older, and Becerra runs for governor because he doesn't want to go home. He really just doesn't want to sit home anymore.
I believe in me.
He was bouncing around like 3, 4, 5% of the vote. In fact, he was cut out of one of the early debates until there was a revolt. He led the revolt where he was angry because only the candidates of color were kept away. Well, at the time, all the candidates of color had 5% or less. Now, nobody knew that Swalwell was going to be forced out. And so Becerra, what did Ken used to say? The turd that floats to the top of the bowl. We coined that after Gray Davis. Biden was another example. Gray Davis and Biden, political hacks who bounced around, and suddenly there's an unusual set of circumstances. They happen to be in the race, and there's Becerra floating to the top of the bowl. Nobody saw it coming. I saw no articles about Becerra during the election for months now. I saw no interviews with him. Nobody took it seriously. Suddenly, he floats to the top of the bowl, and the other candidates are going, what the hell? How'd this happen? So, of course, they go after him, and there's a lot to go after. That scandal involving his chief of staff and Newsom's chief of staff is real. They're really going to prison. They really pleaded guilty. They pleaded guilty. It was so obvious they both pleaded guilty yesterday. And then the 85,000 kids, illegal alien kids, that Becerra lost track of. Didn't know where they went. And some of them ended up working in slaughterhouses and factories and meatpacking plants. And they were 14 years old. And you know what his response was in one of the other debates is, well, they had to earn money somehow. The hell kind of program was this? You let in illegal alien underage kids and they ended up working in slaughterhouses, and your excuse is, well, they had to earn money? That is bozo material. So you're going to hear a lengthy clip, and it may sound confusing, but this is really what happened. Steyer, Mrs. Potato Head, Mahan, all of them go after Javier Baccaria. Let it rip.
If you were elected into the top two election runoff in November, can you guarantee that will not be a distraction?
I can, because as I've said from day one, I was not involved in the wrongdoing. I had nothing to do with that. I did nothing wrong. And don't take my words for it. Take the words of the U.S. attorney who said no candidate running for governor has been implicated in this particular matter. So, Steve, you may not want to accept it, but the truth is what it is. You don't get to make up the facts. The facts are the facts.
Said it, Javier. Let's talk about your chief of staff who said that you knew about these payments. Let's talk about.
If I can respond to that, the district, the prosecuting attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office is the one that handled this case. Steve, unless you tell me otherwise, I don't think you've gone to law school. But the U.S. attorney did say, and Katie, to your point, then the U.S. attorney has said no candidate, including me, running for governor, has been implicated in this case. And they looked at all the facts and decided that there was no involvement on my part. They want to continue to repeat saying that. I get it, because it's a campaign. Accept the facts.
Well, let's talk about we'll go to Mr. Steyer first and then Ms. Porter.
Let me just say this. Javier, you're saying accept the facts. Let's go to the videotape. Let's trust the people who are saying it. When it comes to single payer, you went and talked to the largest lobbying group against single payer in the state of California. And the head of that group the next day said you very clearly indicated you were against single payer.
And
they didn't just say it. They didn't just say it. They endorsed you, and they gave you the maximum amount of money that they can give a candidate. So are they lying? They clearly gave you the money. They clearly gave you the endorsement, and they clearly stated that's what you said.
Ms. Porter.
So respectfully, Mr. Becerra, your quote at the end drifted off a little bit from the words. What the quote was that you had not been mentioned in the charging documents, that is in the indictment of Dana Williamson, your long-term chief of staff, Sean McCluskey, or Greg Campbell. But as you know, that does not preclude, because you are also a trained attorney, you know that does not preclude an indictment from being issued against you. We do not know what Dana Williamson said about your involvement, and the government will have the ability to reveal that later.
Give you the last word.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll let the lawyers battle that one out, but there's also a lot of fraud that happened under Javier's watch that we know about. Let's just stick to the facts. As Attorney General for the state of California, as HHS Secretary, Javier Becerra oversaw a growing bureaucracy that we now know put out $32 billion worth of fraudulent unemployment claims, billions of dollars of fraudulent hospice claims. He wasn't minding the shop. I mean, the Biden administration had to sideline him during COVID. This is not the leadership we need.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Becerra, your final word.
This is what happens when you take the lead in the polls and you're ahead of everyone else.
But it's all, wait, stop a sec, stop. It's all true, though. He was the attorney general here when all the money, $32 billion, was flying out the door in the unemployment scandal. That was 2020. He went to Joe Biden to become Health and Human Services Secretary in 2021. That's when Biden's term started. And that's where he lost the 85,000 illegal alien kids. So, and then you've heard about all the Medicare, Medicaid fraud that's been going on for years. That's what the hospice fraud is about. So he has been involved with fraud up to his neck for 5 years or longer. And you got the 85,000 lost illegal alien kids, and you've got all the crimes swirling around his chief of staff and Newsom's chief of staff stealing $225,000 from his campaign fund. And he was paying one of them to manage the campaign fund. And Newsom's chief of staff took the money. It was $10,000 a month she was getting as a, quote, salary to manage the account. Well, there's nothing going on in his campaign account because he wasn't campaigning anywhere. He'd been appointed to Attorney General. He'd been appointed to Health and Human Services Secretary. So he wasn't running for anything. But he had this money in the account, and Newsom's chief of staff, Dana Williamson, took $10,000 a month, and then they did a money laundering scheme so that Becerra's chief of staff would end up with the $225,000 because he was supposed to go with Becerra to Washington, D.C., but he didn't like the new salary. And Becerra approved the payments to Dana Williamson, and then Williamson, through a circular method, got it to what's his name? McCluskey. McCluskey was the name of the chief of staff. Actually, the money was on paper going to McCluskey's wife for a no-show job. He approved the payments, Becerra did. And that was pretty clever from Mrs. Potato Head saying, well, you know, your name is not in this particular charge against the two chiefs of staff, but they never said anything about not indicting you at another time for another crime. And she got him there. He thinks he's smart, but he's not smart. I don't know. Maybe he got one of those fake law degrees online. I'm not sure.
Javier Baccaria.
All right. So at this point, Becerra's going to respond, but we have to take a break. Deborah Mark is off today. We got Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. California governor hopefuls faced off in San Francisco last night, but Governor Newsom still hasn't endorsed anyone to replace him. Two teens are in custody after ramming a dirt bike into a sheriff's deputy in Santa Clarita, and the Trump administration is being sued over a ban on abortion care and counseling through the VA. We'll check the 210 freeway next.
If you're hurt in a car accident, a motorcycle... Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me tell you about American Vision Windows. Memorial Day is a time to honor great service, and at American Vision Windows, great service is what they're known for. This month, you get 25% off all windows and doors. That is significant savings. This is a real upgrade. New windows mean more comfort for you, right? Air conditioning and heating, and it's all held in by these new energy-efficient windows. Stunning appeal, and all the money you're going to save on the air conditioning and heating bill. This is a genuine glow-up inside and out for your home. Your neighbors are going to notice. Your family's going to feel it. They've installed over 1 million windows for California homeowners. Most jobs done in a day. So there's less disruption to your life. New windows by evening. Save 25% on old windows and doors. That offer ends May 31st. Call or see the website for details. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. AmericanVisionWindows.com. Call 888-771-2188. 888-771-2188.
Let's go to a crash on the 210 in Pasadena.
So low on details here, but it is on the westbound side from what I can tell, and it's coming up just before Lake. Now, low on the details as to which lanes are blocked, but I am seeing quite the backup right now for that 210 westbound, loading up all the way out of Monrovia, getting away from Huntington Drive. The eastbound side of the 210 starts to slow down in Pasadena from Mountain. You remain on the brakes and stretches all the way to Foothill Boulevard ahead in Upland as you roll towards the 15 freeway. Now that 15 into the Cajon Pass, really filling in a Sierra to the 138. And it's tough as you make your way along the 15 southbound in Corona, dense from the 91 all the way to Wyrick Road. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Major League Baseball's rivalry weekend opens tonight, highlighting regional and historical rivalries, including the Dodgers visiting the Angels. The Rams will open their season in Australia against the 49ers, followed by a primetime home opener against the Giants in Week 2. Basketball Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie will be honored by the Sparks with a statue outside of Crypto.com Arena. I'm Frank Garrity.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey there, campers! It's Jan from Toyota. Time to pack your bags and buckle your seatbelts because this summer we're headed to Camp Toyota. And the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a powerful new 4Runner. Next, we're taking a RAV4 to go fly fishing. Then we're heading to the hot springs in a spacious Sequoia.
Jan, what is that smell?
Sulfur stinks. Now we're hitting the hiking trails in a rugged Grand Highlander. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Don't worry if you burn a few, folks. I brought a truckload. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right,
free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Gold and silver recently soared to record highs, then pulled back, and they're high again. So are metals still a good buy? Well, many Wall Street experts predict higher prices ahead. And why is that? Trillions of dollars in national debt, a declining dollar, and inflation that keeps shrinking our savings. Gold remains a historical hedge for wealth protection. Call Lear Capital for a free gold kit. Call 800-225-8100, 800-225-8100. Lear Capital, 800-225-8100.
Gardeners, yard care enthusiasts, hobby horticulturalists, the yard care industry hid a horrible secret from us. They sold us toxic chemicals and called it green. It's time for Sunday. Just soybean proteins, iron, seaweed, molasses, real ingredients that make your soil thrive. Sunday blends clean ingredients with real science for a yard that's thicker, greener, and healthier. Get your custom Sunday yard plan for spring at getsunday.com.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Got a few minutes left. I just want to play the Becerra response. Hey, I just want to be fair here. This was the debate from last night. You're listening to our show and watching it live on youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. You can go there and you can see the live stream. We're going on till 6. Here on KFI AM 640. All right, let's play last 30 seconds because I just played you 3 minutes of Becerra getting pummeled by all the other candidates at once over a lot of different issues. Just mark this moment. You just heard a whole group of Democrats telling you that Becerra is a bag of crap, okay? So you've been warned, you've been told by his fellow candidates. Here's his response.
This is what happens when you take the lead in the polls and you're ahead of everyone else. They all come at you. So I get it.
I'm
I get
leading
it.
in the polls. I think you'll
I get it. I get it. I get it. So they have to try to bring you down. This is a great Trump tactic that's used. I didn't expect it to come from fellow Democrats, but it's coming.
Look at this.
What I will, Katie, I will
wait, stop right there. He actually invokes Trump against his fellow Democratic candidates. Honest to God, that's all he's got. He just shouts Trump. He shouts Trump, what, at Katie Porter? He's shouting Trump at Tom Steyer? Really? What a bozo. He is lame. All right, play the rest.
This is a great Trump tactic that's used. I didn't expect it to come from fellow Democrats, but it's coming. But here's what I will, Katie, I will quote to you what the U.S. attorney said. No candidate running for governor has been implicated in this case. You may not like that, but that's what the U.S. attorney said.
Yes, in that particular case that they were charging those chiefs of staff with. All right, enough of that. Oh, man, he's bad. He's really bad. Let's play some comments here from our live stream on YouTube. And this is from J. Bruce 87. Oh, John does In-N-Out Friday as well. Well, where did I put my cup? Oh, I drank everything. It's not an official In-N-Out Friday. It just happened to be. Yeah, I usually go there once a week. Carney's I go to twice a week, just for the record. In-N-Out for lunch? Yes, that's right. Sean Dustin, do we get free potatoes if Katie Porter wins? You get a Mrs. Potato Head doll. That's what she'll hand out. Let's see what's next. Stefan SS Tiger. LOL, becoming a bloviating BS artist. Is that me? Is he referring to me? Am I bloviating?
No, it says Becerra.
Oh, Becerra. Oh, Becerra is becoming a bloviating BS. Oh, okay. I missed that. We need a live blood pressure sleeve on John, according to Super Effecta Hecta. Yeah, that'd be entertaining. A little dial on the screen. Stephen SS Tiger says Spencer Pratt for LA mayor. Watching from Atlanta, says John Meldrum 5450. Moved out of LA 13 years ago. Thanks for reminding me why I moved, although I do miss those In-N-Out cups. I can mail you a used one. Becerra's phony is a $3 bill. Yeah, he's terrible. He's probably the lamest, most dishonest of all the candidates, which is saying something. Let's see. The YouTube podcast I never knew I needed, says Kamano 7754. Well, thank you. I didn't know we needed to do it either, but here it is. All right, we got a guest coming up right after 4 o'clock. Gloria Romero, former Democrat turned Republican, running for lieutenant governor, and she's running. I believe she's running as kind of a running mate of Steve Hilton. So we'll talk to Gloria Romero coming up next. And in for Deborah Mark, it's Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Final debate. I'm Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The top 7 candidates for governor of California debated in San Francisco last night with voting already underway.
None of the candidates had any breakthrough moments, and the event was less contentious than some previous debates. It featured 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans, and many of them directed their criticisms at Javier Becerra. The Democrat has emerged as the new frontrunner in the most recent polls. The CBS debate was the final face-off before the primary election. Ballots are now in mailboxes, and Election Day is less than 3 weeks away. The 2 candidates with the most votes, regardless of party, will advance to the general election in November. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
Governor Newsom still hasn't endorsed any of the Democrats running to replace him, but he did tell reporters he's been working to make sure the next governor is not a Republican.
I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. And there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out. And we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
The latest polls show Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton leading the race. 2 teens are in custody after deputies say one of them intentionally swerved a dirt bike into a sheriff's deputy in Santa Clarita. The motorcycle deputy crashed into a light pole and was taken to the hospital. Neighbors tell KTLA there's an ongoing problem with reckless dirt bike and e-bike riders in the area.
Well, I mean, they do that to people, even not just deputies. They're in the walkway, and it's a problem.
Authorities say the teens were arrested hours later and could face assault charges. A man is accused of abandoning several exotic snakes while fleeing police on Hollywood Boulevard.
The Los Angeles Police Department says it happened about a week ago when the man was parading exotic snakes around for tourist money. When officers approached him, he ran away, leaving the snakes behind. The large snakes were safely recovered and turned over to Los Angeles Animal Control. It's unclear where the suspect got the snakes from. The LAPD hasn't explicitly said if the man was arrested, but in a social media post mentions his escape plan being foiled. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
The former Minnesota Republican state senator who introduced a Trump derangement syndrome bill has pleaded guilty to a child pornography charge.
Justin Eichhorn resigned from office after being caught in a teen sexting last year, asking someone he believed was a teenager to text him nude photos. He was charged with attempted coercion and enticement of a minor and faced a 10-year minimum sentence. About 3 weeks before the trial was scheduled to start, he pleaded guilty in federal court to the lesser charge of attempted possession of child sexual abuse material and now faces 15 to 21 months. Eichhorn was a co-author of a bill to classify Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
The Trump administration is facing a lawsuit from a veterans advocacy group over its ban on abortion care and counseling at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
The Minority Veterans of America argues the Trump administration violated the Administrative Procedures Act by revoking a Biden-era legal opinion that allowed the VA to provide limited abortion counseling and services. According to the complaint, the VA failed to provide any explanation for disregarding its previous findings addressing veterans' need for abortion care. The VA quietly re-implemented the ban in December, and it applies across all states regardless of the state's abortion access laws. Jim Roop, KFI News.
Southland weather from KFI. Today, cloudy with highs in the 60s to 80s. Tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. It's 71 degrees in La Palma, 70 in Orange, 71 in Studio City, 65 in Santa Monica. The financial report from KFI. The Dow lost 537, S&P 500 lost 93, and NASDAQ lost 410. We're going to a stall on the 101 in Woodland Hills.
So this one has been reported along the southbound side. Coming up at Ventura Boulevard, Highway Patrol ran a brake, slowing down all lanes, and they rolled this stall out of lanes. As a result, we're seeing some pretty stacked traffic on that 101 southbound with delays that are backing up all the way from just about Las Virgenes, almost there. So maybe a little closer to Lost Hills. You remain on the brakes in stretches as you continue to the 170, 134 split More slowing in Hollywood, Sunset into downtown Los Angeles. Now, let's also take a look at the drive in Griffith Park. We're almost in Burbank by now on that 134 eastbound. That's where traffic is loading up, getting away from Hollywood Way. And it's pretty tough all the way to the 5 freeway. It looks like there's a crash just before the 5 that they're clearing out of lanes. It's also very slow in Pasadena. Eastbound side of the 210, leaving Mountain. Delays and stretches all the way out to the 15 freeway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters need them. We look out for the helpers because they look out for us. Thank you, first responders! Thank you, first responders!
Help us help first responders in your community today. Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart radio app. Welcome to the show. We're on every day from 3 to 6, and after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app, and that's where you pick up what you missed. And you can watch us on YouTube right now. You go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow, youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow, and follow along on YouTube. And we even have a running chat room you can comment on. We're doing a heavy on the election the last week or two because the ballots are all in your home. And California is big on voting from home and mailing it out. So we want to get Gloria Romero on right this minute. Gloria has been on the show before. She's former president of the... What's that? Is she coming on? Gloria is formerly the president of the state Senate as a Democrat. She's now a Republican, and she's running as on the ticket with Steve Hilton. Lieutenant Governor is next in line if the governor's term should abruptly end for one reason or another, and also when he's out of the state. Sometimes there are duties that the lieutenant governor has to handle. Let's get Gloria Romero on the line. Wait a second. We're getting close. We're getting close to a connection here. Now we got her. Hey, Gloria, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much. My phone didn't ring at all, so I don't know what happened, but I'm on now.
Well, you're on KFI. You're on all over the world, really. So thank you for being with us. Tell everybody your history, because I know we've talked a couple of times before about it, but you were a Democratic leader in the state Senate. You were the president of the Senate, if I remember right, some years ago. And then you migrated to the Republican Party, and now you're running as lieutenant governor. Just give us a mini history of your path over the years and why you took the path you did.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Yes, once upon a time, I was a Democrat, and in the immortal words of President Ronald Reagan, he said he didn't leave the party left him. Fast forward a couple of decades, same thing happened to me. I was the majority leader, actually, of the California State Senate, but I was a Democrat who believed in school choice. I mean, universal school choice, including opportunity scholarships. People call them vouchers. I saw firsthand as chair of the Education Committee and the district that I represented, East Los Angeles, that our schools, the public education system was failing kids up and down the state of California. It's really a public works system, not a public education system. So that's really the major issue that I fought with the Democrat Party on, and I did that for every year that I was in the legislature. Fast forward, I still consider myself a feminist, but I know what a woman is. My generation is held ready. I am woman, hear me roar. We used to sing that song. I know the difference between XX chromosomes and XY chromosomes. I believe in girls, having girl sports under Title IX. So all of that was there. But the final coup de grace was really when, as bad a candidate as he was, at least Joe Biden put himself up in an already rigged primary. He got, there were 14 million Democrats that went out to vote. I voted in that primary, and basically he got thrown out. And we call that, basically the dedazo in Latin America, where the military, the political leaders point and say, you're our candidate, forget the people. It was a political coup right in front of our faces. And I finally just said, for the so-called party of democracy, I don't recognize it anymore. I left, and I had been looking at the Republican Party. I had always worked with Republicans. I supported the recall of Gavin Newsom. Remember, once upon a time, supported Larry Elder, endorsed Republican candidates on school choice issues. So it basically became one where it was not only leaving a party I no longer recognized, but being attracted to and seeing really the values that were led by Donald Trump. He stood up for the American worker, blue-collar workers, the working class, and the Democrats had become a very woke and so-called environmental climate change crazy party, forcing people, taking away gas stoves so we can't toast our tortillas in East LA. That's not going to go over well. A lot of issues.
Did you see that Nithya Raman wants to ban backyard barbecues on high fire dangers, but she doesn't want to bust up the encampments that start 17,000 fires a year?
Exactly. I mean, and you take a look at the hypocrisy, and then you've got the Coastal Commission appointed by the governor, who basically went out there and said, their president said, no fireworks for you on 4th of July because of climate change. In the meantime, of course, the bad policies by the Coastal Commission and Governor Newsom, exacerbated by Karen Bass, burned down most of our cities. So it's all hypocrisy. It's all hypocrisy. And I think most Californians today are onto the grist and are just saying enough. This is a change election. And even Democrats, blue, I was blue for most of my life, although I was very much in the column of America First, a JFK style, a JFK style Democrat Party that believed in American exceptionalism. That's what I was. And finally, I just said, I don't recognize it. Tulsi Gabbard left, Leo Terrell left, Bobby Kennedy. We all left. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, you name it. We left.
What explains the extremism, especially in the California Democratic Party? All those issues that you went through. Nationally, they poll 80-20 against them. And yet in California, that the ruling class embraces all of it, all of the insanity. What happened here, especially over the last 10 years?
Well, I will pinpoint it directly. I mean, once upon a time, we had Bernie Sanders, and he was sort of the lone curmudgeon socialist, Democrat socialist in the Senate. But mark my words, I think the real change happened when AOC was elected in Congress. And right away, there was the squad. There were 4 of them. Nancy Pelosi, as savvy as she was, she failed to take on the rise of the Democrat socialists within the Democratic Party. And she basically fed them. Remember, she posed on the cover of Rolling Stone like grandma and the squad. And that really began to set the stage. And so after that, you began to see this holding hostage. This was an extreme, far left woke. Basically, the Democrats.
How did they get control of the whole party here in California? Because even in California, all those issues aren't that popular. How do they run everything at the leadership level and guide all the voting and guide the bills that are presented?
It's called organization, the grassroots. It's looking at political machines that have not only turned left, but have really jolted to the left. A lot of the labor unions, the very far woke environmental caucuses. Look at the Los Angeles City Council. It's on the verge of being taken over by the Democrat Socialists of America. You've got Mondani back in New York, and you've got, Nithya running here, although DSA didn't endorse her. You've got a lot of congressional people. It really has become, it's sort of a coup that has taken place when nobody's been looking, except for those of us who have been saying, what the hell is happening to the Democrat Party? And the mainstream Democrats, led by Nancy Pelosi, look at Chuck Schumer. He is so afraid of AOC running against him. They have no backbone, no courage, and they have basically allowed for this running over of what was once a somewhat moderate, a liberal Democrat Party. It's gone now. And I don't know that it will recover.
What about the voters, though? Why are the voters not rising up against the extremists?
Well, I think that's an excellent question. I think on one hand, it's also just the power of the machine, the power of money. Also, if you take a look at grassroots politics in Los Angeles, who controls it? I mean, really, the only ones who are really out there are, the labor unions or DSA. It is organized. It is a very strong organization that's out there. Most people don't know. They're busy with their lives. They're trying to raise children. The rent's too high. The gas is too high. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And then you get those glossy mailers and somebody comes knocking on your door and says, hey, it's the billionaire's fault. So a lot of it is basically this, it's a populist rising, but it's beyond that. It's saying we're going to blame, populism. We're going to blame the billionaires. We're going to blame, the multinationals. Orange man bad. That's all you hear in California. Everything is orange man bad. And
I know. It's weird. I don't know if you heard any of the debate yesterday, but Becerra's answer to everything was to start chanting Trump's name, even accusing all the other Democratic candidates of sounding like Trump when they were criticizing Becerra. I mean, it's insane. It's like some mantra for a cult.
And, and once upon a time, Javier Becerra, because he was my congressman actually about 20 years ago, he was actually a more moderate businessman. He used to do tax credits, opportunity zones. I think he lost his mind when he went to the Biden administration. And you almost got sucked into that. It really, you see this suction cup happening, and basically the party that we knew, it's gone. And I don't think it's coming back. It's on the road to destruction. I think the best thing is for the Democrats to have it out and just say, if you want your party, create the Democrat Socialist. But, it's kind of like a parasite. Something has latched on to the Democrat Party. They failed. The Democrats who were in the party failed to rise up, challenge. They were all quiet. They were silent. They were afraid of this new leftist wing. They didn't take it on. And those of us who did and left, we basically left because we got basically, kicked out of the party essentially because we weren't willing to play the game. A woman is a woman. It's not a birthing person. It's not fine. You had a governor and a mayor and actually an arsonist first lit the fire and a cover up that led to those Palisades fires.
Yeah.
And they're all climate change. And you think, no, even the New York Times, I understand, wrote an article a couple of days ago saying maybe the Democrats should rethink this.
Yeah.
So it really is something where there's been a massive transformation right in front of our eyes. And the people of California, and especially Los Angeles, we are paying the price now. It will continue unless we vote for change because there's no backbone. There's no courage in Sacramento. 16 years of one-party rule, that means basically that party has been dominated and pushed into silence. We've got to break the change. And that's why I'm running. Lieutenant Governor Steve Hilton for governor. We created the golden ticket. It really is a challenge to what is happening in California. And if we don't do it now, God forbid what the state's going to look like.
All right, Gloria Romero, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. It's good to have you on. And she's running as a Republican for lieutenant governor with Steve Hilton, who's running for governor. And we will be continuing when we come back. But first, Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. Tustin police are searching for a gunman after a mom of 3 was shot and killed on a sidewalk. Cancer centers across the country are racing to get access to a promising new drug for pancreatic cancer. And the FBI is offering a $200,000 reward for a former Air Force intelligence specialist accused of leaking classified information to Iran. We've got some slowing on the 5 in Castaic.
The southbound side is loading up away from Hasley Canyon Road, and delays continue ahead as you make your way into Valencia. Let's see where that opens up. It opens up just before, right around... Here we go. It opens up coming up on McBean Parkway. So after that, the drive looks pretty decent. And the southbound side of the 5 slows way ahead in Burbank from Alameda as you travel towards the 605. That northbound side, we're seeing delays in Boyle Heights from the 60 as you travel ahead towards the 134, and in Sun Valley from about Sheldon as you continue all the way back towards the 14 freeway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
This is Sarah Spain with the latest from iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by Capital One.
Today marks the tip-off of the WNBA's historic 30th season, with 2 new teams joining the league, the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire, to bring the total to 15 for the 2026 season. The Las Vegas Aces are the returning champs, led by 4-time WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson. 3 games on the slate tonight. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcast. As a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports, Capital One helps you stay connected to top female athletes and earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores with the Capital One Saver Card. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Visit CapitalOne.com for details.
This report is sponsored by iHeartAdvertising.com.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
As the experts in transmissions for over 50 years, there's nothing at AMCO we haven't heard.
So when I hit the gas, it's just a belt.
And nothing we can't fix.
It's going. What's that?
From transmissions to brakes and everything in between. No credit? Finance your repair at AMCO.
Exclusions apply, may not be combined with any other offer. Limited time offer at participating centers only.
People who know go to AMCO. AA MCO.
AMCO, with over 40 centers serving Southern California.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit. 800-225-8100.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
Facing production swings or a tough skills gap? Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals makes hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster for contract and full-time jobs. Visit expresspros.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Gracie Abrams has a brand new song.
But I hit the wall, I just hit the wall.
And it's on the newly released playlist on the free iHeartRadio app. Your no-cost destination to hear all of the songs that were just released, including Drake,
Atlanta, tell you about my run, you know what I'm saying?
Megan Maroney,
You'll call me the traitor.
The Strokes, Maluma, and so much more. Open the free iHeartRadio app and search new to listen now.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, CIA whistleblower testified under oath that Dr. Fauci orchestrated a COVID cover-up. You'll hear the audio of Dr. Fauci over a sick patient screaming, "Die! Die!" So what are the claims? I'll get into it Monday morning after 7 on the next Handel Show.
$1,000 giveaway.
Now is your opportunity to win $1,000. Just enter the nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND, GRAND. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Grand entry to KFIAM640.com/cash. Winners will be notified by email. Check your junk and spam folder. Listen to KFI, the winning keyword, every hour, every weekday from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. And next chance to win with me is 5:20 here on KFI. And we want to thank another one of our listeners. We have our live stream on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. If you want to watch Cookie Don 15, I should say what they paid here.
Yeah, they gave us a super chat.
Oh, it's a super chat. Okay, I'm just learning all this. $2 to say shout out to all listening on the radio. Okay, that's worth $2. Fine. That's yeah. You can subscribe. You can become a member. There's benefits coming to members a little bit down the road. 2 rounds of the Moist Line next hour as well at 5:20 and 5:50. Remember about, was it 2 weeks ago or so? We had Joey Tuccio on from an animal nonprofit called Starts With One Today, and they go downtown to Skid Row, and they try to help out all the animals that the drug addicts and the mental patients are torturing. Remember that? We played that interview a couple of times, and it was based on a TV story done by Casey Montoya, who's working with Channel 5 at the time. There are a lot of vagrants on Skid Row who are feeding drugs to their dogs to see if the drugs work. And there's some dogs that have been dismembered. There have been experiments done on the dogs. A lot of them are abused, neglected. They're starving. They're not given food or water. And now there's another organization, along with Joey Tuccio's Starts With One Today, this other organization, Advancing Law for Animals, Vanessa Shakib, and they have sent a letter to the Department of Justice, to all the U.S. officials, including the Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, the FBI Director Kash Patel, the Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, the Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, to say, look at all this disgusting, disturbing, horrible animal abuse going on Skid Row that Karen Bass is allowing. I mean, there's been television coverage. It's all over the internet. We covered it extensively here on the radio. And Karen Bass is doing nothing. And animals are continued to be abused and mistreated and experimented on and killed. And she does nothing. So Advancing Law for Animals sent this letter to the Acting Attorney General on behalf of my client, Starts With One Today. I'm writing to inform your offices of ongoing felony animal abuse and other violations of federal law taking place in Central City, East Los Angeles, known as Skid Row. By the way, Spencer Pratt is running big on this issue as well. He has gone down to Skid Row and shot some videos and done some campaigning, trying to alert everybody in Los Angeles about this massive amount of animal abuse going on, seemingly drawing no interest from Karen Bass. Not to mention there's apparently all kinds of horrible things going on in the dog shelters in the city of LA as well. Anyway, the group says we respectfully request that you take swift and decisive action to enforce the law where local officials have refused to combat animal cruelty and other criminal and violent activity. They have documented dogs with their eyes and genitals glued together, their bones broken, their paws mutilated, overdosed on drugs. Whistleblower accounts reveal that illegal breeding on Skid Row, among other things, is fueling a dog trafficking pipeline for animal fighting in Las Vegas, capitalizing on the public craze for purebred dogs and facilitating drug sales. The letter says that conditions observed by my client and captured by the media appear inconsistent with minimal standards of care, including requirements for structurally sound housing, safe confinement, minimum space requirements, enclosures so the dogs can stand, turn around, and be comfortable, lie down comfortably, and it goes on and on and on to all these officials. Joey Tuccio has reportedly reached out to Karen Bass Los Angeles Police Department, Los Angeles Animal Services, and they ran a petition. They got tens of thousands of signatures demanding a meeting with Bass to discuss all the animal abuse on Skid Row. Mayor Bass has ignored the request. They've also asked the council member, Isabel Jurado, another one of those Democratic socialist nuts, to come to Skid Row to see the animal abuse and neglect. When she was running for office, her response was enthusiastic. Once elected, she ghosted my client. I don't know what to tell you. Usually when you start abusing animals, all hell breaks loose against local politicians. But in this case, Bass really does feel like nothing can hurt her at all. That she could allow dogs to be experimented on and killed right in the daylight in one of these sainted homeless encampments. And nothing she can do, nothing she's going to try to do. Of course, the police could take care of matters in a matter of minutes, but she won't do that. We've got more coming up. Deborah Mark is off today. We have Regina D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Tustin police are still searching for a gunman after a woman was shot and killed on a sidewalk yesterday near 17th and Yorba Street. Family members identified the victim as Sandra Rodriguez, a single mother who was walking to her car when she was killed. A representative from Families Together spoke with KTLA.
Even though it was just under a month, she already was having a great impact. So this is really a tragedy.
Witnesses say the suspect wore all black and left in a dark old model sedan. A congresswoman says she thinks a lot of her peers are potheads. Ilhan Omar from Minnesota is the co-chair of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus. TMZ asked if she thought it was odd that no members were open stoners.
I think there are a lot of people who smoke cannabis in Congress.
She was asked if she gave President Trump any credit for where he is on cannabis.
I do. I think any step forward is a good step, but we need to go farther than where we are at right now.
She says she believes cannabis should be fully legal and doesn't know if the president is there yet, but she'd love to get him there. Colorado Governor Jared Polis is reducing the prison sentence of former county clerk Tina Peters, making the Trump ally eligible for parole June 1st. Peters was convicted in a voting machine breach tied to efforts to challenge the 2020 election. Polis says the sentence was unusually harsh and that courts found the judge improperly considered Peters' political speech during sentencing, but he says this is not a pardon. Cancer centers across the U.S. are trying to get their hands on an experimental breakthrough drug for pancreatic cancer.
It's called Diraxonrasib, and it's manufactured by Revolution Medicines out of California. The FDA approved the drug 2 weeks ago for early access after it was shown in clinical trials to extend the lives of some pancreatic cancer patients by nearly double the time. Pancreatic cancer has one of the highest mortality rates, with just 3% of patients surviving more than 5 years. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
The FBI is offering a $200,000 reward as agents search for former Air Force counterintelligence specialist Monica Witt. She's accused of defecting to Iran and handing over classified U.S. intelligence. Southland weather from KFI today, cloudy with highs in the 60s to 80s. It's 71 degrees in La Palma, 70 in Orange. We've got some slowing on the 10 in Santa Monica.
These delays are starting almost from Lincoln. Delays continue across Mid-City all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. Staying on the 10 eastbound, more slowing in City Terrace from City Terrace Drive. After that, you remain on the brakes in stretches all the way into Redlands. It's tough. The 15 southbound in Corona. Delays from the 91 freeway heading towards Temescal Canyon Road. It's that northbound side that it's backing up from Indian Truck Trail. Heavy ahead as you make your way back towards Wyrick Road, and then more slowing. You've got just pocket delays all the way to the 210 freeway, more steady slowing all the way to the 138. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
This Memorial Day, American Vision Windows brings expert craftsmanship and big savings to your home. Get 25% off all windows and doors this month only. A real upgrade to your comfort, curb appeal, and utility savings. They've installed over 1 million windows and get most jobs done in one day. Hurry, this offer ends May 31st. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com or call 888-226 888-226-9908. 888-226-9908. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call us to website for details. Offer ends May 31st, 2026.
Only a few weekends of racing at Santa Anita Park's Hollywood Meet every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Experience racing excitement with Uncorked Wine Festival, Fiesta de Santa Anita, and Bomberos Car Show, and closing day on June 14th with mandatory payouts on all pools. Weekend admission, parking in a program, just $10. Every Friday, enjoy free admission and parking plus all day 50% off happy hour. With millions in payouts every race day, explore new experiences at the Great Race Place by visiting santaanita.com/events.
Train wreck after train wreck. Finally, someone to talk you through it. Therapy Thursday is a new iHeart podcast with licensed therapist Sarah Dash. I'm Ellen Kay along with Ryan Mano. Join us on the iHeart app and wherever you get your podcasts.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-506-9295. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-506-9295. That's 800-506-9295. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST Medical.
Young Kim backs President Trump 100%.
False. Liberal Young Kim opposed President Trump's immigration policy, voting to protect convicted criminal illegal immigrants from deportation. And Kim voted to force businesses to open transgender bathrooms, allowing men with our daughters. And Kim voted to censure President Trump, but voted against censoring Adam Schiff. Anti-Trump, woke, liberal. That's the real Young Kim. Americans for Security PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Americans for Security PAC.
We post it, you see it. It's like radio, but without the need for all that annoying imagination. Follow us now on all the socials at KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're on from 3 to 6 every day. And then after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand. That's the podcast. And that's where you listen to what you missed. And we continue live on YouTube, the live stream. You have to go to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. We've got our own channel. And as soon as the show's over, it's going to be posted for eternity. But join us now. And you can get involved in the comments section online. I want to tell you about a trend that I have seen just in the last few days. A number of left-wing oriented newspapers and magazines are printing an article grudgingly admitting that Spencer Pratt is a serious candidate and that he's right. The New York Times, Jessica Gross wrote a piece. Unfortunately, we have to take Spencer Pratt seriously as a politician. Yeah, you do. And there's one in The Atlantic. Now, The Atlantic is a pretty left-wing magazine that I read a lot. It usually has 2 new anti-Trump stories a day. Megan Daum wrote a piece, though, entitled What Los Angeles Has Become. Now, she is a writer, and she lives in Los Angeles, and it's one of these grudging admissions that this place is really a slip to like the third circle of hell. And if Spencer Pratt isn't talking about it, who is? Nobody. I mean, normal people are, but nobody in power, nobody in politics, not Bass or Nithya Raman. And it's interesting what she wrote. And in a lot of it is what we all see with our own eyes. But to see this in print in a magazine that usually does not give any space to this point of view. Is an example of just this. It is so bad here, almost nobody can deny it, except Bass and Rahman, who are the two major figures who run the place, because Bass is mayor and Rahman is chair of the committee on homelessness on the city council. So you've got the two top people. They're both running for mayor. They're both, one is left-wing, Bass. The other is far, far, far left-wing. She's a Democratic Socialist. She's of the same ilk as Zohran Mamdani. And then you have Spencer Pratt, who baffles all the journalists and politicians because he's speaking so clearly and bluntly, and nobody does that. It's like he's speaking a different language, and they don't understand. He's speaking the language of normal people. I understand it right away. There's a single thing he has said, a single thing that he's posted that isn't based on reality. I see it. I say the same things. So do you probably at home. If you live in the LA area, you know. So Megan Daum wrote this. And she met him in front of his Airstream trailer. And I'm just jumping around with some excerpts because it's a long piece. He's, for starters, well, he says what he's going to do when he's in charge. For starters, he'll clear the drug-ravaged homeless encampments of downtown and bring in developers from all over the world. And that's the only thing you can do is clear the encampments. Chad Bianco laid it out wonderfully in the debate last night. You clear the encampments, you put them in jail, and then you offer them drug treatment or mental health treatment. There is no other plan. That is the beginning, middle, and end. Clear the encampments, number one. Number two, put them in jail. Number three, offer them drug treatment or mental health care. That's it. Enough with the tens, hundreds of billions of dollars of supportive housing and whatever complicated bureaucratic nonsense that they spew. And this is the part that got me here. For anyone not living here, Megan Daum writes, it's nearly impossible to comprehend what has become of the place. It's not just that in January 2025, wildfires destroyed more than 16,000 structures and engulfed nearly 40,000 acres across the county. Apocalyptic as the fires were, they are not the main story, and they never really were. The main story is one of a city seemingly annihilating itself. Potholes crater the roads. Streetlights, stripped of copper wire by organized theft crews, are out across the city. Vector-borne diseases such as typhus are breaking out at record levels. The result, at least in part, of 45,000 people, which is a low estimate, closer to 75,000 if you include the whole county, 45 to 75,000 people living in squalid encampments on sidewalks. Yeah, because they live amongst rotted food and rats, and the rats spread the typhus, which the people are getting. And Megan Daum writes, fueled by fentanyl and a new psychosis-inducing form of methamphetamine, that's the super meth that Spencer Pratt was talking about, which is 97% pure, we found out yesterday. 97% pure meth. So that's why they're zombies. She talks about how zombies is Pratt's term for the tens of thousands who lived in depraved conditions on LA streets. Many of them addicted to drugs that leave them profoundly incapacitated and sometimes violent. And she writes, it's not a nice word to call someone who's fallen into the bottomless abyss of hallucinations and thrashing self-destruction, but anyone living here knows exactly what he means. How did you and I live our entire lives without seeing somebody having a super meth psychosis fit on the streets? And yet I've seen it, and you've seen it frequently if you drive through the LA neighborhoods. You see them flapping their arms, shirtless, pantless, sweating, yelling, waving to the sky. A psychotic meth fit. Fentanyl, where they're bent over, rigid, immobile. I never saw that either until the last few years. Two drugs, relatively new, fentanyl and the super meth, have completely transformed the outdoor life in Los Angeles, and Karen Bass and the rest of them stand and stare. Instead of doing what Spencer Pratt and Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton say, is you gotta put them away and force them into treatment. You gotta force them into mental health and drug treatment. Now, the reason they don't do that is because they're stealing the money, and it's become a multi-billion-dollar money laundering grift. That's why. It's because we have criminals running the place. Fueled by fentanyl and a new psychosis-inducing form of methamphetamine, street homelessness is no longer confined to the 50 hellish blocks of Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles. It is now a city and county-wide humanitarian crisis that lives on freeway ramps, underpasses, parks, the banks of the desiccated LA River, the steps of public libraries, and the alleys behind homes and businesses. Undeterred and unprotected by laws that are no longer enforced, profoundly sick humans stumble blindly into traffic, defecate in plain sight, wave machetes in the air, threaten violence to passersby, and leave dogs tied to junk-filled shopping carts while they slump on the sidewalk in a fentanyl stupor. That's all one paragraph, and it's all true, and it's all Los Angeles. It is it is impossible to describe to outsiders what is going on here, because I don't think the human brain believes it. And it astonishes me that there's so much of it involving at least 75,000 people that we can see with our eyes, and there's still half the city who claims they're going to vote for either Karen Bass or Nithya Raman. Why? And it can only be cult behavior. People in cults, as you know, witness all kinds of horrific behavior. Women getting raped, women getting beaten, children being beaten. We've all heard and read the stories. Cults have been around in California, getting public attention going back to the 1970s. They all end up being weird sex cults to some extent. They all end up with people, being locked in basements in the name of some religion, some guru. Often it's some sex guru, or it's some imaginary religious figure or imaginary power. And it must be that's what's going on. Humans are very susceptible to cult-like behavior and bizarre beliefs. But to see somebody like Megan downright about it and to publish it in the Atlantic is really quite stunning, and should be a sign that we are in an extreme emergency situation here. And you cannot vote the way you normally vote. You got to vote for somebody like a Spencer Pratt or a Steve Hilton. This is an emergency. Talk more about it coming up. Deborah Mark is off today. We have Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. President Trump says he has not decided whether to move forward with a major U.S. arms sale to Taiwan after his trip to China. California Attorney General Rob Bonta is calling on ICE and Homeland Security to improve conditions inside detention centers. And 7 candidates for California governor faced off in San Francisco in their final debates before the June 2nd primary. We'll check the 405 freeway next.
Here's a question. How many brokers does it take to insure your business? If you're like most business owners, the answer, too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and no clear view of how it all fits together. And when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. SuperSure changes that. One broker for all your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. And if you've ever started a policy or stared at a policy, wondering what it actually covers, what am I looking at? SuperSure has a fine print facts tool that translates the legal jargon into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. And right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation. Find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. Tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. Let's go to a stall in the 405 in Mission Hills.
So this one has been reported along the northbound side before San Fernando Mission Boulevard. Middle lane blocked. Delays. Well, overall slowing for that 405 northbound. Loads up all the way out of Culver City from almost the 90. Beyond the scene of the stall, the drive's still slow all the way to the 5 merge into Sylmar. And it's tough on the 101. This is making your way southbound. Getting out of just about Agora Hills. You're on the brakes leaving Liberty Canyon Road. And it's a tough one all the way to the 170-134 split. More slowing in Hollywood from Sunset into downtown Los Angeles with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Angel Martinez.
Summit Racing has the parts, tools, and accessories to keep your ride summer road trip ready. You'll find everything for pre-trip maintenance and essentials like emergency roadside kits. Shop summitracing.com and enroll in the rewards program to get more power in every purchase.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit. 800-225-8100.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-764-6022. 800-764-6022. 800-764-6022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
This June, the world comes to Los Angeles. Kick off FIFA World Cup 2026 at the FIFA Fan Festival at the iconic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Watch matches live on giant screens. Feel every goal with thousands of fans. And celebrate with music, culture, and flavors from around the world. Join us June 11th through 14th, opening weekend, as the tournament kicks off in Los Angeles. Tickets are just $10 and kids under 12 are free. Get yours now at LosAngelesFWC26.com.
Hi, this is Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. I've spent my career designing and building beautiful homes. I'm here on KFI to help you transform your house into a more beautiful home. And while we're at it, build yourself a more beautiful life.
Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Tomorrow morning at 6 on KFI.
More stimulating talk. Skip this. Tap that red talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app while listening to your favorite station.
You guys rock.
Instant feedback. And the best feature, if you mess up,
hopefully I'm sending these messages correctly.
Do it again. Leave a talkback now on the free iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Climatologists and meteorologists, they all seem to agree the odds of us seeing a super El Nino are about as high as they've ever been.
So what does that mean? We'll be joined by a local expert here on Monks and Merrill. Monday, starting at noon, KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, the John Kobylt Show. And coming up at 5 o'clock hour, we're going to have 2 rounds of the Moist Line. 877 Moist 86 if you want to be on next week, 877 Moist 86. All right, we're going to do a few comments here and see what we get. We're on YouTube Live, youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. And let's see, Billy Bongwaters. Is that a grown man? I have a radio that always has KFI on someplace. I don't ever turn it off. All right, Mr. Bongwaters, thank you. Then Kobylt Babe 26. Love Joey, she writes. That would be Joey Tuccio.
Yes.
Who? Because I'm John. Love Joey. Oh, that's Joey Tuccio. He runs that animal rescue center. Let's see. We've got Rondell, 1956. Antonio Villa Ragosa. We clean your toilets. Karen Bass. We buy you teeth. You know, that's got the same rhythm to it. It does. And that's basically what she said. This is what's like so insane is that I've been reading you about the super meth, the 97% purity of the meth, the 45,000 homeless in the city of LA on the streets, many of them on meth. And Karen Bass is, well, play the clip again if you've got it. Because
you can't succeed without teeth.
Because without addressing that she mentioned that they use the meth and they lose their teeth. But her solution is that there has to be comprehensive health care and we got to pay for their new teeth. Yet that you have to work not for your teeth or your kids' teeth, but the drug addict's teeth, the meth addict's teeth. That's her response.
We clean your toilets.
Well,
you can't succeed without teeth.
These are crazy people. How does this happen? You know, it's funny because I say, how does this happen? And I was just reading some comments in The Atlantic to that Megan Downs story that I wrote where she described in very graphic terms what's going on in L.A. for people not in L.A. around the country. And a whole bunch of left-wing progressives are complaining about the article that it was even published. One of them said, I'm canceling my subscription to The Atlantic. This is a very peculiar thing that goes on. In left-wing papers and magazines, when somebody prints the truth that criticizes the left-wing progressive policy, which has been a disaster, the readers go, oh, well, I'm not going to read this magazine anymore. I don't want to know this. And they cancel. And that's why these newspapers, magazine keep printing. This is why they keep printing nonsense, because if they don't print the nonsense, then their readers get angry and cut off their subscriptions. Well, it's the truth, but they don't want to know it. The people who run the New York Times, the LA Times, Atlantic Magazine, and all the rest of these left-wing publications, half the reason they print the crap that they print is because the readers want it, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They don't want to hear the truth. It's really bizarre. It's strange. Oh, I'm going to cancel my subscription. What Megan Downs wrote is true. Actually, one woman claims she walks through downtown every day and has never seen any of this. That's what she actually wrote. Let's see another comment at Sean Q6K1Q. Homeless money lost $24 billion. Where is the leadership when overdoses and death of our sons and daughters are seen wandering out of their view? Morally bankrupt Democrats. The people running the city and the state don't care if your son or daughter dies of an overdose. They don't. The $24 billion went to their friends and relatives who run the nonprofit industry. They are criminals. They are criminals in power, and this is what criminals in power do, is they manipulate your emotions by saying you have to be vulnerable, you have to be empathetic to these vulnerable people. Remember how Garcetti always phrased it? Our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, our fellow Angelinos. Why did he choose that language? Always just to make fun of him, but there was a purpose to the language, to try to make you feel guilty, to make you feel sad for them, to make you feel angry at yourself for questioning why they should get this money. But it was part of the grift. What a con man does is he has to emotionally manipulate you before he steals your money. And what they do is they emotionally manipulate you into feeling guilty. That's what the whole progressive regime has been about, manipulating you into feeling guilty for being racist, for being insensitive and uncaring towards the homeless, uncaring to the illegal alien. And next thing you know, there's multi-billion-dollar nonprofits set up, siphoning off enormous amounts of tax money, demands for tax increases. This is a plan by design. It has nothing to do with morality. They don't care. You're sitting there stamping your feet, huffing and puffing over morality. They don't have it. Not everybody has it. Not everybody is wired in their brains to have it. Stop being so naive. These are legitimately bad, awful people, and you put them in charge. All right, Sean Dustin says, bring on the Moist Line. Well, we will, twice, coming up in the next hour, right after Virginia D'Agostino and the news, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
I'm Brigida D'Agostino, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. President Trump says he has not decided whether to move forward with a major U.S. arms sale to Taiwan after his trip to China. Former U.S. Ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, says U.S. law requires Washington to provide Taiwan with defensive weapons. No president since Jimmy Carter has negotiated those sales through Beijing.
So I think right now, President Trump has to approve this arms sale package. It's the best way to prevent a war, by the way, by stiffening Taiwan's defense.
China opposes the deal, saying U.S. ties with Taiwan remain a major issue in relations between Washington and Beijing. California Attorney General Rob Bonta is calling on ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to improve conditions inside detention facilities. A new state report found detainees had limited access to clean water, inadequate toilets, and delays in medical care. Bonta says the problems are tied to the Trump administration's mass deportation efforts.
Its refusal to release detainees on bond. So we have more detainees in the facilities, and we're seeing all sorts of unacceptable, cruel, and inhumane conditions.
Bonta says all 7 active ICE detention facilities in California violated federal detention standards. Condo sales in Los Angeles are collapsing.
Fewer than 2,000 condo units sold in January and February, the slowest start to a year in 2 decades, according to real estate data firm Adam. Prices are also slipping, down nearly 5% from last year. Experts blame high mortgage rates, rising HOA fees, and economic uncertainty, while developers are backing away from condo projects because of soaring construction costs and strict California regulations. Heather Brooker, KFI News.
7 candidates for California governor faced off in San Francisco in their final debate before the June 2nd primary. Republican Steve Hilton criticized the state's healthcare policies.
I don't think it's fair that California taxpayers who can barely afford their own health coverage should be paying for the health care of citizens of other countries.
Democrat Javier Becerra also pledged to address health care.
People in California don't care what you call it. At the end of the day, what they want is access to a doctor when they need it and a bill that they can afford to pay.
The June 2nd primary is now less than 3 weeks away. FBI Director Kash Patel did some diving around a World War II memorial.
Newly released government emails say Patel took a VIP snorkel around the USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor. Snorkeling and diving is not allowed around the battleship sunk by the Japanese in 1941, but officials have quietly allowed a handful of dignitaries to swim around it. It's now a military cemetery with more than 900 sailors and Marines entombed inside, including many survivors who wanted to rest eternally with their former shipmates. The president of the Sons and Daughters of Pearl Harbor Survivors says there are no more survivors survivors of the Arizona alive, and their children might have some objections, but she hasn't heard any. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
Attention animal lovers, dozens of dogs are free starting today.
Pasadena Humane is waiving adoption fees for adult dogs 6 months and older. The May I Go Home With You campaign runs through May 24th. All adoptions include spay or neuter, vaccinations, and a microchip. More than 40 dogs are available for adoption. Officials say adult dogs end up in shelters longer than puppies, even though they're generally a lot easier to care for because they've passed the puppy stage. The shelter says these dogs are eager for a second chance. Pasadena Humane is open daily from 9:30 to 5:30. Amy King, KFI News.
Southland weather from KFI tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. It's 70 degrees in La Palma, 69 in Orange, 71 in Studio City, 65 in Santa Monica. The KFI financial report, the Dow lost 537, S&P 500 lost 93, and NASDAQ lost 410. We're going to a stall on the 101 in Encino.
On the southbound side before White Oak, they're clearing it out of the carpool lane, but delays, it's pretty heavy all the way out of Calabasas. I'm seeing a backup all the way from Lost Hills. Beyond the scene of the stall, you've got slowing ahead in Sherman Oaks from the 405 to the 170, 134 split, and then delays out of the Cahuenga Pass all the way into downtown Los Angeles. Another problem, this one in Van Nuys, 405 northbound before Victory. That's a crash that landed in middle lane, so clearing everything to the shoulder, but delays here. Overall slowing out of Culver City from Venice Boulevard. And then this ongoing investigation in Riverside. It's the 215 North connector to the 60 West, which remains off limits. And the 60 West at Main Street, only the left lane is open. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Termites are one of those things we tend to put off. Ecola is here to protect your most expensive investment, your home, your family, and the environment. You might have heard of Sue Freeze, the termite lady. She's the owner of Ecola Termite and Pest Control. Now, they've been protecting Southern California homes for more than 40 years. So if you have a termite problem, that's who you want in your corner. Ecola offers eco-friendly treatments that are tough on termites, but gentle on kids, pets, and anyone who's sensitive to chemicals. And if you're not planning on selling your house, they'll come out and inspect your home for free. And with all the heat we've had over this last month here in Southern California, it's perfect breeding grounds for termites. Ecola has been recognized as one of the top pest control companies in North America by Pest Control Technology magazine. So if you suspect a termite problem, you must act fast. So call Ecola at 1-800-332-BUGS. 1-800-332-2847. 1-800-332-BUGS.
Commercial contractors. It takes a well-managed crew of professionals to keep a company running smoothly, and that takes time. ServiceTitan, the end-to-end business management platform for the trades, provides the tools to manage your crew in the field. With automated scheduling, time tracking, progress updates, and more, your teams stay on track, on budget, and aligned from start to finish. Learn how ServiceTitan is taking your teams to new levels of efficiency. Visit ServiceTitan.com to request a demo. That's ServiceTitan.com.
You need to lose 50 pounds or more. You've tried dieting, you've tried injections, but nothing has worked. This is not failure. You just need the right plan. Weight loss is complex. It can be affected by stress, depression, or genetics, and that means you deserve real medical support. At West Medical, your path forward is physician-guided and built around you. Take control of your health with a free consultation to start feeling incredible. 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL. That's 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. It's the John Kobylt Show, and we are on every day from 3 till 6 o'clock. And then after 6, it's John Kobylt Show on demand. We become a podcast on the iHeart app, and we're always on YouTube. We're live streaming on YouTube right now. Every show, every day, youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow, youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. That's where you'll find us. We have our own channel called the John Kobylt Channel, and you can subscribe. You can become a member. There'll be member benefits coming shortly down the road. 2 rounds of the Moist Line at 5:20 and 5:50. I should mention that I'm also appearing on my wife's podcast, which is also on YouTube. It's already been recorded. It's posted, and that's Deborah Kobylt Live. Deborah Kobylt Live. We talked about the mayor and governor's race. And so you can take a look at that sometime this weekend. We're giving you plenty of programming, aren't we? Now, all right. This is incredible how this particular idea keeps becoming more and more widespread, even though it is provably terribly damaging to people's lives. And I'm talking about the mandated minimum wage here in California and specifically in Los Angeles. Now, a couple of years ago, they mandated a fast food minimum wage, and it cost the fast food industry thousands of jobs because the restaurants can't afford it. I don't understand the psychology of this at all. I figured, superficially, well, yeah, the unions bribe politicians to pass this because I guess the more union members make, the more they pay in dues. I don't know, does it work that way? But you end up losing thousands of jobs. So I don't know how that pencils up to the union leaders. But definitely a lot of people lose their jobs. And then other people get their hours severely cut. And human jobs are replaced by automation, kiosks. I don't know what they have in the back room, at a Jack in the Box to make the burgers and fries. But up front, at some of these chains, you make your order and you're not dealing with an order person anymore. So it's a stupid idea. I really don't have the interest to figure out why the union does this. I figure it's got to net out for those greed bags to make them more money. But it's a big progressive movement. And they did this here in the city of Los Angeles. The LA City Council had passed a law to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour for hotel and airport workers. And finally, businesses said, enough of this. It was supposed to be implemented in 2028 for the Olympics. Now, what I've been reading, we got the World Cup coming next month, and that hotel room reservations are way below where they should be, way below expectations. And I figure, well, part of that's probably because the World Cup tickets are so freaking expensive. Not to mention now airline tickets are insanely expensive because the price of jet fuel has gone through the roof. And people read every day, you go online, and you could see how disgusting and horrid the city of Los Angeles is. Like, who would stay at a downtown hotel in LA? So now the business community said, finally, well, we're not putting up with this $30 minimum wage for 2028 for the Olympics. So they had threatened to put on the ballot this year to repeal what is known as the gross receipts tax. This is a major business tax on whatever income a business receives. And it's one of the major tax pipelines for city government. If the tax would be repealed outright, and if voters approved it, it would strip about $750 million from the general fund. And over 5 years, it would cost about $4 billion plus. And backers of the measure, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, hotel trade groups, they don't want to pay this. So they were going to put this on the ballot to get rid of the tax entirely. And they got a lot of money to put on maybe a convincing campaign. So finally, city councils backed off. They voted 9-6 to postpone the minimum wage until 2030, not 2028 when the Olympics come. Because if they had this minimum wage, then the hotel rooms have to go up. You lose business. The airline tickets will go up. You have to lose business. You can't just say, oh, we got the Olympics and we've got the World Cup. People are going to come. No, at some point they don't come. They don't want to bankrupt themselves, to see a volleyball match. Because it's really nice watching the Olympics on television now. I actually don't really get the appeal of going to the Olympics in person and paying that kind of money, because the last Winter Olympics Peacock has like 30 different sports running at the same time. You could just choose one of the squares on TV and you get close-ups, and you get to see the competitors interviewed, and you get the descriptions, and you sit in your underwear and enjoy the air conditioning, and driving to some of these venues, or God forbid taking one of the disgusting buses or trains and getting stabbed, and it's 92 degrees outside, and all the crowds, and none of that sounds appealing to me. But and raising the minimum wage makes it a lot less appealing to people who do want to go. Matt Szabo, who's this loser bureaucrat for Bass, said the consequence of L.A. losing the gross receipts tax, they'd have to declare a fiscal emergency, lay off thousands of people. That's not a question. That's a certainty. These would be worse measures than the Great Recession or the COVID pandemic. He says the job cuts would then debilitate the city's homelessness response. Well, we have no homelessness response. How can you debilitate something that doesn't exist? They'd have to cut 2,000 police officers. Well, we're down to 8,000. I guess we'd have to live with 6, right? So he wants the city council to back off this minimum wage. $30 an hour. That is ridiculous. I don't understand. If you're not paid enough money in your job, go get a better job. If you need to get skills or education, then get skills or education. I will never understand this, and it's an emotional manipulation. Well, you can't raise a family on $20 an hour. Of course you can't. Will you fall on your head? Of course you can't. Those jobs were never meant to raise a family on. If that's all you can make, you shouldn't be having a family. You should have kept it in your pants. Now you got to do like adults do and get skills and education so you can earn more than that. Because basically you're asking $30 an hour to flip burgers. You're asking for welfare is what you're asking for. That's just great. Speaking of government jobs, I heard today that since Trump took over, they got rid of 400,000 federal jobs. A few months ago, I'd heard it was 330,000. So it seems about right. Now, has anyone noticed 400,000 federal jobs being eliminated? What did all these people do? I didn't know that they got rid of 400,000 or 300,000. I didn't even notice. Did you notice? How would you notice? And this is separate from certain departments being shut down during that budget debate. Like TSA. I'm saying everything fully funded, no budget shutdowns. 400,000 jobs fewer than a year and a half ago. Ouch! Who noticed? 400,000 fake jobs? They all leave? Changes nothing? Wow. More coming up. We got the Moist Line. We're going to have it twice this hour. We're live on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show if you want to watch and join the party. And in for Deborah Mark, we got Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. Dozens of people are being monitored for hantavirus in the U.S. Harvey Weinstein's sexual assault retrial has ended with jurors deadlocked on a rape charge. And new disclosures show President Trump bought millions in stock in U.S. companies before taking office, including some that later needed approval from the White House before making business decisions. Southland weather from KFI brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. We're going to a crash on the 405 in Fountain Valley.
This one's delays on the northbound side just past Euclid. Everyone's out of lanes now to the right shoulder. But that drive, it's going to be tough all the way out of Irvine, leaving the 133. Beyond the scene of the crash, your drive remains heavy and stretches all the way to Lakewood Boulevard in Long Beach. That southbound side of the 405 in Irvine slows from Jamboree as you continue ahead towards Sand Canyon. And we're also checking out Corona because it's loading up on that 15 southbound from the 91 freeway. Delays traveling ahead towards Temescal Canyon Road. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Hey, it's Neil Saavedra. The Fork Report has teamed up again with Wild Fork Foods and Big Green Egg for an Easter and summer kickoff you just don't want to miss. I'll also announce my Wild Fork pick of the week this week. 90% lean organic ground beef for only $7.50. And great meats deserve great grills. Fire up your Wild Fork finds on a Big Green Egg for bold, live fire flavor. Find a Wild Fork near you at wildfork.com and visit biggreenegg.com for a dealer near you. Experience the difference.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Ronald Reagan was president when Habas Law was born.
A lot has changed in the past 40 years, but the ideas and philosophies that hold Habas Law together have not changed at all.
Our core beliefs have only grown stronger.
We believe in doing the right thing.
Because it's the right thing to do.
My father taught me that. I'm Omar Habas.
His father was my grandfather. I'm Nicholas Habas.
My father owned a small group of neighborhood markets.
Little grocery stores.
And he knew all his customers.
And his customers knew him.
When a family was down on their luck,
he would always let them take whatever groceries they needed until they were back on their feet.
My father always did the right thing.
Because it was the right thing to do.
We are his descendants.
And we do it too.
When you've been injured
and you're having a bad day,
call 1-800-INJURED.
And your bad day will go away.
Call Habas Law.
Your day is about to get a whole lot better.
What my father did for others,
we're going to do for you.
HAVVASlaw.com.
Omar Habas and Nicholas Habas are California licensed attorneys with an office in Los Angeles. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to trust what you're seeing. Who made it? Is it real? But with iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio hosts' product recommendations. And if you own or manage a business here or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way in creating your future customers. Make iHeart Media a part of your 2026 plan today. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Hello, I'm Robert Smigel. I did lots of things. Cartoons on SNL, Conan stuff, Triumph the Insult Comic Dogs, the movies. But now I'm past my peak. So I'm hosting a podcast, Humor Me with Robert Smigel and Friends. Each week, me and my favorite comedians, writers, and whatnots help regular people just like you, presuming you're regular, who have some project or task that they'd like us to help make funnier.
Search Humor Me on iHeartRadio, America's #1 podcast network, and the Webby Podcast Company of the Year.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
One of the impactful candidates for governor is going to join us live on the show, and we'll ask, when do you drop out?
Show starts Monday at 9.
$1,000 giveaway.
Now is your opportunity to win $1,000. Yes! Just enter the nationwide keyword on our website, Rich. That's Rich, R-I-C-H. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Rich. Enter it at KFIAM640.com/cash. If you win, you'll get an email. Check your junk and spam folder too. And listen for the winning keyword every hour, every weekday from 9 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Next chance to win is going to be Monday morning at 9:20 with Gary and Shannon here on KFI. We're going to do the Moist Line in just a minute. We're live on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. We're on KFI AM 640, and the podcast will be released after 6 o'clock on the iHeart app. Before we get to the Moist Line, just one note. Bill Saley, who's the U.S. Attorney for the Central District, you see him involved in all the big, all the corruption busts, the drug busts. He's the leading prosecutor. And yesterday, there was another bust at MacArthur Park. They had a huge one where they arrested like 25 gang leaders and gang members just a week or two ago. And then there were reports that some of the bad guys had moved back into town, I guess different bad guys, because, you know, there's a heavy market for fentanyl and super meth. Well, Rampart narcotics detectives had an operation along the 600 block of Alvarado across from MacArthur Park. They were watching narcotic sales, so they arrested 5 individuals. They were employees of the businesses. I guess these were employees of legitimate businesses who were helping out the drug dealers on the street. They confiscated fentanyl, prescription medicine, lots of U.S. currency. 5 suspects were arrested on state charges. Federal charges may come. They're going to continue working with LAPD and the DEA. I just want to say Trump and Bill Saley and that whole crew is doing a tremendous amount to clean up MacArthur Park. Not Karen Bass, not Gavin Newsom. It's been led by Trump's Department of Justice and Bill Saley here. And that is the truth, which lots of people don't want to hear. All right, now it's time for the Moist Line. 877-MOIST-86 if you want to be on next week. Let's do round 1.
Hey, it's John. Thanks for calling the Moist Line. I'm so excited to hear from you. It's about time.
I'm sure Nithya Raman children don't have to deal with homeless encampments by their school. I'm sure they go to some nice private school somewhere where there's guards and everything's safe. I'm sure everything's fine where her kids go. She doesn't care about your children. She doesn't care. She's in it for the money.
If Karen Becerra wins, then we know that the system is rigged and there's no way out of it. There's nothing we can do.
So my son saw a commercial for Tom's Tire, and he says to me, "Dad, why is that guy so weird?" And I just had to go back for a minute and just say, yeah, that just says it perfectly. Got to take it from an 11-year-old. That guy is weird. And I'm hoping for our friend Steve Hilton.
Newsom will never lower the gas tax. Him and his buddies want to have gas at $12 or more a gallon so that they can push their EVs and their bus transit and train system, which will never work in California.
Get rid of Karen Bass. I just can't stand her. She's an awful person.
I remember when she was going to make that trip, and I thought everybody knew that she was going to make that trip. And it was right before they already knew about the winds and how bad they were going to be. And she left to go to, Ghana. I heard about it.
I was looking forward to eating dinner tonight. I am so hungry. And then you described Karen Bass in that sexy Calvin Klein red dress of hers. And now I am not hungry. It's all your fault, John.
Did she request time off for the party, or she is getting paid going to the party?
I don't think I've ever had anybody ask these socialist Democrats that want to abolish the police force, what exactly do they want to put in place? Because certainly we're not going to have a society of anarchy. That's certainly, hopefully, not what they're looking for.
Social workers.
All DSA members need to have the homeless, the criminals, the drug addicted, the mentally unstable live in their homes with them. The only way things are going to change is if the sheep don't start voting the other way. It's not going to do you any good. It's going to continue the same way.
Are illegal aliens that are new mothers here also getting those diapers from Newsom?
You know, you say, oh,
Yes.
Gavin's stupid. He's a criminal, and he's still in office along with all these other need to stop. He's ripping everything off, and oh, he's good. $9 million mansion. What the hell?
The diaper-to-diaper program is even worse. It's only size 1. So if you have a kid who was born and he's a big kid, those diapers are no good for you. If you have a preemie, well, maybe they'll grow into them. But secondarily, if it just so happens you've got a kid with sensitive skin and those diapers give them a rash, well, you've got 400 useless diapers.
I run a pantry. I have a closet full of these baby-to-baby diapers I can't give away because there's so many of them out there and people don't like them because they don't work.
Can we start some kind of movement to purge the word homeless from these dialectics that we have? We need to replace it with mentally ill.
We're turning this into a Republican state. We ain't giving no votes to no Democrats.
Xander Baccaria has no business running for governor of the state of California.
Newsom is such a liar. No, you're not breaking any cycles. All you're doing is implementing a permanent homeless lifestyle so you can control the public. It's disgusting. And what's even grosser are the people that are voting for you.
The term Trumpian might work against her because, remember, he's the guy who actually sent in people to clean up the Palisades. So a lot of people in L.A. don't see him the way that all the Democrats want to see him.
Thank you for leaving your message. Please hang up. Goodbye.
All right, good. Round 1 of the Moist Line, 877-MOIST-86. You know, one of the early Moist Liners there said something that I really think too many people can't understand. Nithya Raman doesn't care. What I've realized is there aren't two sides that people are on in issues in these situations. It's you have a side that cares, right? We want the streets cleaned up. And then the other side doesn't care. And it's not about whether she believes that those people have a right to live there or not. It's that's where the money is. She's on the side of where the money is. And because they successfully emotionally manipulated a majority of the voters to provide all this tax revenue, now everyone involved in the homeless grift is making lots of money, and then they reroute the money back to politicians in the form of campaign donations, and I'm sure there's a lot of under-the-table spending as well. So it's not which side of the homeless issue, it's that Nithya Raman and Bass are on the side of the issue that makes them and their supporters and their donors and their friends and relatives money. Being in favor of the homeless in the streets, that's the money side. That's why they're there. More coming up. Round 2 of the Moist Line. Brigida D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Health officials say 41 people are being monitored for potential hantavirus, but no Americans have it. Dr. Alec Patel says the rising numbers don't mean there's an increased threat to the public.
This is not an airborne, overly contagious respiratory virus that we've seen in the past, especially with COVID.
He says hantavirus can only spread through prolonged close contact with someone who is symptomatic. LA is being accused of singling out one side of demonstrators against Israel's war in Gaza.
If Not Now says its mission is a vision of Judaism without weapons. The group says LA City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto has targeted the group for its pro-Palestine activism, including criminal charges against people demonstrating against Israel's occupation and bombing of Gaza in 2024. The group's calling for the release of communication from Feldstein Soto after whistleblowers in her office accused her of prosecutorial bias against Palestine solidarity activists without following proper law enforcement procedures. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
Harvey Weinstein's sexual assault retrial has ended in a mistrial after jurors could not unanimously decide whether he raped Jessica Mann in 2013.
The central point in this case was whether the testimony from Jessica Mann was consistent. Harvey Weinstein's lawyers have argued that they had an on and off relationship. And this argument used by Weinstein's lawyers successfully resulted in another mistrial last year.
ABC's Peter Haralambous says Weinstein was previously convicted of the crime, but the New York Court of Appeals overturned the verdict. New financial disclosures show President Trump bought millions in stock in U.S. companies with business before his administration, including chipmaker NVIDIA. ABC's Olivia Rubin says NVIDIA has discussed selling lower-powered chips to China with approval from the administration.
Something that critics said would give China a leg up in this sort of global AI race, and we haven't really heard much if there was any sort of agreement made.
The Trump organization says the accounts are managed by third-party financial institutions with sole and exclusive authority over all investment decisions. We'll check the 101 freeway next.
Here's a question. How many brokers does it take to insure your business? If you're like most business owners, the answer is too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, no clear view of how it all fits together. And when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. SuperSure changes that. One broker for all your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. And if you've ever stared at a policy wondering what it actually covers, SuperSure has a fine print fax tool that translates the legal jargon into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. And right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation. Find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. It's 70 degrees in La Palma, 69 in Orange. We're going to a stall in the 101 in Studio City.
So this one is reported along the southbound side of that 101. This is making your way before Laurel Canyon. 2 right lanes are blocked, and overall slowing for the 101 southbound, backing up out of Calabasas from Lost Hills. Beyond the stall, the drive is slow ahead in Hollywood from Sunset into downtown Los Angeles. It's also a tough drive out of La Cañada. This is the drive on the 210 westbound approaching Angeles Crest Highway. Everything becomes crowded all the way to the 5 merge just below the 14 freeway. And then on that 5 southbound, that's where it's still slow moving, getting away from Highway 126, crowded ahead to McBean Parkway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit, 800-225-8100.
Therapy Thursday is now a podcast. Listen to me, Ellen Kay, Ryan Mano, and therapist Sarah Dash on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Therapy Thursday, the podcast.
OPL Law, your advocates and your voice when you need it most. OPLLaw.com.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
This is Jacob Emrani. When you need help after an accident, I'm here for you.
1-800-345-6789. Call Jacob. Hey, it's Dean Sharp. This Memorial Day, American Vision Windows brings expert craftsmanship and big savings to your home. Get 25% off all windows and doors, a real upgrade to your comfort, your curb appeal, and utility savings. They've installed over 1 million windows and get most jobs done in just one day. But hurry, this offer ends May 31st. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com or call them at 888-686-8249. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see the website for details. Offer ends May 31st.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. John Kobylt Show. We're on live on KFI AM 640 and on streaming and on what? On the podcast coming up in about a half an hour. John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app.
Where are we streaming?
And YouTube.com. That's where we're streaming. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And we got second round of the Moist Line coming up in about 20 minutes. We're constantly telling you where your piece of your paycheck is going, what it's going for. It's the end of the work week. It's late on Friday. And here's what you were working for this week. There's a state senator named Steve Padilla from San Diego. And he has a Senate bill that would require. Now get a load of these offices. Remember I told you that Trump got rid of 400,000 federal workers and none of us have noticed? Well, he's got a Senate bill that would require the Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation and the Natural Resources Agency to assess how climate change impacts women more than men. According to Dr. Nancy Cohen of the Gender Equity Policy Institute, that has got to be a lot of headaches working there. Dr. Cohen says women bear the brunt of climate change. Climate emergencies don't affect everyone equally. Now, so on a hot day, women are suffering more than men. Is that true? How about on a cold day? How about on a rainy day? Do women get more wet than men do? Do women feel stronger winds harder than men do? Regina, do you have any?
I do, but I'm autistic, so I feel everything more intensely.
Are you really autistic?
I am, yes.
No wonder you're working here. This is a haven for autistic
but everything
people.
is too much for me, basically. I can't account for all women.
That's all right. I'm not far away myself. Probably just a couple of ticks away on the meter. So everything affects you.
Yes,
yeah, autistic
everything.
people are
very
more sensitive
to, absolutely.
Well, have you noticed climate change making you feel more and more uncomfortable?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've lived here, over 20 years now. And when I moved here, I don't remember it being this hot. I live in the valley and it's so hot.
Geez, it doesn't say you're protected here. This is gender equity. So Padilla introduced Senate Bill 10. It's to protect vulnerable communities by requiring state agencies to include a gender analysis and perspective in climate emergency plans. By requiring a gender analysis in our climate plans, we can better understand who is most at risk. Most at risk of what? Sweating? Of needing a sweater? I don't think it rains harder on women. I mean, I've noticed in my life women are always generally feel colder. Just my experience with my mother, my wife, any other women I've known, they tend to not run as hot as men do.
You sure you didn't just piss them off?
Oh, well, yeah. Yes, I can bring on the ice age pretty quickly at my house. Yeah, it doesn't take much. So we could better understand who's more at risk and ensure our policies protect those who are overlooked. This approach leads to smarter, more equitable solutions that strengthen the resilience of entire communities. What is this gobbledygook? This makes no sense. Who the hell is Stephen Padilla? Sounds like a nut. A global scientific consensus has emerged in the last 15 years that women are disproportionately vulnerable to climate change. Good Lord. In the bill, it says, in the past, gender has been mostly overlooked and unaddressed in the state's climate policy and planning. I don't get it. What is it anybody's supposed to do? What exactly are the symptoms? Apparently, they got this from the United Nations, which is committed to advancing gender equality and climate action. So is it more sweaters? Is it fewer sweaters? More swimwear, maybe? Padilla had done this 2 years ago as well, with a Senate bill to direct the Office of Emergency Services to establish what practices are able to use when addressing the needs of the LGBTQ plus community after a disaster. How are gay people affected more than straight people during a disaster? Like an earthquake? Do buildings fall on gay people more than straight people? A flood? What? I got to look this guy, Stephen Padilla, up. He sounds like a gold-plated lunatic. More environmental news. Our criminal, narcissistic, sociopathic governor, Gavin Newsom, part of his budget this week, is going to spend $1 billion of your money on an electric truck subsidy. An electric truck subsidy Whoever buys an electric truck gets $7,500 of my money and your money. Wait a second. The rebate would range from $7,500. We're going to hand out up to $120,000 for electric semi-trucks, delivery vans, box trucks, and other commercial vehicles, because they want all the trucks to be electric. So you're working so that a guy buying a semi-truck is going to get $120,000 of tax money. How long is it going to take to charge a semi-truck? Like 3 days? They cannot accept that electric vehicles are largely a bust with the public. Here's some proof. Honda yesterday, Honda Motor Company, reported its first annual loss since becoming a publicly traded company in Japan almost 70 years ago. It was 1957 that Honda was listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And in 70 years, they'd never had a loss. But in the fiscal year that ended March 31st, they lost $2.7 billion. Why do you think? That's right. Electric vehicles. Nobody wanted them. They had to write down $9 billion in losses, restructuring charges, and write-downs after pulling dramatically back on its electric vehicle strategy. So for 70 years, the Honda Motor Company was profitable. And then last year, the electric car mandates from the government put them into the red. Toshihiro Mibe, Honda's chief executive, said the business environment and the customer demand have changed beyond our expectations. We were not able to respond flexibly enough. Yeah, they were beaten over the head by the government and bribed into building electric cars. And here in the United States, the public went, pfft. They had promised to make their entire lineup electric or hydrogen powered by 2040. And they put them out on the market and everybody stared. In fact, in last year, electric vehicle sales in the U.S. fell, which broke a growth streak for electric cars. Yes, because the subsidies disappeared and people don't want to pay the high prices for electric cars. Regular cars cost enough. We've been looking around to buy a used car. All the used cars are incredibly expensive now. The new cars are outrageous. Electric cars, yeah, you lose the subsidy. That's completely out of bounds. Nobody normal can afford that. And it's not just Honda. Ford Motor Company said its electric vehicle division lost almost $5 billion in 2025 and was going to lose money for at least 2 more years. Honda had announced the cancellation of 3 major electric models. Can anybody recall this big a bust in a major industry like the automobile industry? And it's not something that the American car companies just screwed up. The Asian car companies can't make it work either. So for now, Honda says it's doubling down on gasoline electric hybrids. Yeah, that was the transition. But of course, the fanatics pushed the government to full-blown electric, even though there are hardly any charging stations. It takes way too long, and there's no electrical grid for this. And the cost is outrageous. Wow. What a botch. But of course, the last guy to get it is Newsom. There must be some criminal angle to this. Why is he still offering $1 billion subsidy for EV trucks? There's got to be money being stolen. All right, more coming up, and we are going to have round 2 of the Moist Line in the next segment. John Kobylt Show. We're live on YouTube. And if you want to see me on my wife's YouTube show, John Kobylt, Deborah Kobylt Live. That's what it's called. Her show, her name. Deborah Kobylt Live. We talk about the mayor's race and the governor's race, so you could watch that this weekend as well. We put out enough material for 7 days a week, all day and night. Regina D'Agostino live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here's the latest. President Trump has wrapped up his 2-day summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. A school resource deputy in Moreno Valley has been reassigned following the rough arrest of a teen girl. And the $10 billion lawsuit that President Trump filed for the leak of his 2019 tax returns is going to be dropped. Southland weather by Pella Windows and Doors. Tonight, cloudy with lows in the 50s. We're going to a slowdown, actually, on the 210 in La Crescenta.
This is on the westbound side, and travel gets pretty crowded from the 2 all the way to the 5. So it's a pretty long stretch of crowded conditions. Also slow is the 5 if you're thinking about using that as an alternate. It's pretty crowded as well, leaving the 134 heading northbound as you roll all the way back towards the 14 freeway. And let's also check out the drive on the 134. This is making your way westbound. We're seeing delays here out of the Burbank area, and that loads up at Hollywood Way to the 170-134 split with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Angel Martinez.
What if your checking worked as hard as you do? At Premier America Credit Union, we partner with you through every financial goal. With Premier Plus Checking, earn 3.5% APY just by using your account for everyday purchases, coffee runs, game nights, even that last-minute dinner out. So why not make your money work while you spend it? Open yours today at PremierAmerica.com. Don't settle. Earn more with Premier America Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms apply.
Choose Pella for premium quality window and door replacement to help enhance your home. For a limited time, get up to 25% off windows and doors. Visit Pella.com/radio. Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
After an accident, one question comes to mind. What happens next? Wilshire Law Firm brings clarity when things feel uncertain. While you focus on healing, we fight for the compensation you deserve. That's what happens next. Call now. 1-800-ABCDEFG. Wilshire Law Firm is in L.A.
Imagine a scenario where you or your loved one faces a threat. Your first instinct might be to use lethal force, but it's crucial to consider a less lethal alternative first to avoid the legal complications. Introducing Byrna. Byrna's less lethal launcher. This device is equipped with chemical irritants and kinetic rounds, designed to incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes, providing a critical window for you to escape. Here's a real-life account from a Byrna customer named Adam. While heading to his night shift, Adam encountered a road-raging driver who swerved dangerously, stopped abruptly, and aggressively approached him. Adam dialed 911 and protected himself with his Byrna launcher. He aimed the laser at the aggressor's chest, which immediately de-escalated the situation. The driver returned to his vehicle and awaited the police. That night, Byrna saved 2 lives. Byrna is legal in all 50 states, requires no background checks, and can be conveniently shipped directly to your door. Over 750,000 units sold. Visit Byrna.com. That's BYRNA.com.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Chris Epple, head of marketing for the Americas, Harman JBL, weighs in on the importance of audio.
It's been amazing over the last couple of years to see what's happened with audio. We've doubled our investment in the last 2 years in the audio space. We find it to be highly critical to our business.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live conversations, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Silver is no longer just a commodity. It's a strategic resource. Global demand is hitting record highs while supply remains tight. Call Lear Capital at 800-225-8100 for a free silver report. Lear Capital, 800-225-8100.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
KFI presents Revisionist History with Malcolm Gladwell. A journey through the overlooked and the misunderstood.
I'm Malcolm Gladwell. Every episode re-examines something from the past, an event, a person, an idea, even a song, and asks whether we got it right the first time. Because sometimes the past deserves a second chance.
Revisionist History. Tomorrow night at 9 on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
It's Combo Show today after 6 p.m. Remember that guy that ran onto the runway in Denver and got sucked up into those Frontier engines? Well, that is a problem. That revealed a weakness at airports. And today after 6, we will discuss what they are going to do about it.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, John Kobylt Show. And we're still live streaming on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. If you missed the show, you can watch the whole thing anytime you want this weekend on YouTube. And you can follow us at John Kobylt Radio on social media. Subscribe and become a member on YouTube. There'll be some member benefits coming shortly. And, of course, the podcast will be released in just a few minutes after 6 o'clock. So you can enjoy all of that stuff this weekend if you didn't have it. Maybe you were working. Maybe you were working to pay for the gender equity climate office or something. I understand. Time for the Moist Line, part 2. These people have time. Might be the middle of the night when they call.
Oh, they got plenty of time. Trust me.
Part 2, Moist Line. Let's go.
Hey, it's John. Thanks for calling the Moist Line. I'm so excited to hear from you. It's about time.
Jennifer Newsom, where are you when Javier Baccaria criticizes, belittles, and demeans a female reporter? Where are you, Miss First Partner?
The reason why intelligent, honest, hardworking people don't run for office is because they're intelligent, honest, and hardworking people.
At this point, any Newsom endorsement for LA mayor or governor would only help Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton.
Regarding suspending the California gas tax, I think Newsom is really smart not to do it. Can you imagine him trying to reinstate that 90 cents at some point all in one fell swoop? People would rebel.
It's the truth, brother. They all make money off of people defecating in the street. So sad. My teeth ain't perfect, but I don't smoke meth. Do you think Karen Bass will give me a new set of teeth?
No.
How many people, hardworking people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, could use a new pair of teeth because they're working themselves to death? That's the help that people need.
Or we could just let them get a job, get their own dental insurance to get their own teeth fixed, and we just stay out of it, like we don't do anything, and allow them to get their affairs in order on their own.
Have Karen Bass have the homeless and the illegal aliens use the taxes that they pay to pay for their health insurance along with their dental insurance. That way they're covered. She says that illegal aliens pay taxes and so do the homeless, right?
Actually, all that's going to be left in California is the homeless, the criminals, the illegals, and the politicians.
Come on, John, half-cent sales tax to fund the fire department. It's going to go to the homeless and Karen Bass's industrial complex for her friends and everything else. It's not going to fund the fire department.
In California's criminal justice system, the people are represented by three separate, equally important groups. The police, who investigate crime, the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders, and Gavin Newsom, who lets them all go.
Whatever they raise in the new taxes, they're just going to cut from the city. So all it's going to be is a new tax. You have to get rid of Karen Bass.
People who can't afford diapers should not be cranking out babies.
We need open books. We want full audits before any more taxes.
Really would love to support Chad Bianca, but I totally agree. Those votes should immediately switch over to support Steve Hilton.
Yeah, I'm voting Tom Snyder just to piss you off, John.
Regarding this woman taking the money from the campaign, so she's pleaded guilty. She'll be sentenced. and he'll pardon her before he leaves office, because I think he told her to take it.
There has never been a problem with my barbecue setting a fire anywhere. Nithya Raman probably has no idea what a damn barbecue is about. She needs to get a life, because obviously she has none now.
To Nithya Raman and Karen Bass, I mean, it's such a clown show over here. I'm tired of this United States government in D.C., and I'm tired of the California government.
Thank you for leaving your message. Please hang up. Goodbye.
That is Moist Line. For next week, you want to get on 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. We have a super chat question from Raleigh Melancon. If I'm saying that right. If Pratt and Hilton win, what can they actually do? Well, that's we need a lot of time to answer that question. But since you paid the $2, Spencer Pratt can immediately order the police to arrest all the people breaking the law. That would make a huge difference. You know, all the stories about homeless encampments where neighbors and businesses call for years and nobody ever shows up. Well, the police will be ordered to show up and arrest them because they're all committing crimes all day long. They're stealing stuff. They're doing drugs out in the open. They're defecating on the street. They're ranting and raving and screaming and terrorizing people. Just that alone. And put them in jail and say, now you have a choice. You have to take drug treatment or you have to take mental health treatment, which used to be the way we did things. Why do you think we didn't have this problem until recently? All right, so that's your answer. And Hilton has a lot of things that because I've asked him that question on the air, and maybe you want to search out his lengthy answer. But there are stuff that a governor can stop on day one, and he could veto a lot of stuff. And you know what? They can also create a different climate by constantly getting on television, having publicity appearances, and explain the way they're explaining now what's wrong with what's going on. Right now, you have most everybody in Sacramento and in Los Angeles in government and the media in lockstep, where Bass and Newsom don't admit to anything, and the media only rarely tries to expose the wrongdoing. But if you have Hilton, he's done his own investigation, $400 billion worth of waste. Some of that is the chief executive. He can stop immediately. All right. I'm out of time. Otherwise, I'd keep going. But that's a great question, and we'll be talking more about that over the next 2 weeks. We have Michael Crozier in. Conway up next. Have a good weekend. And Michael's live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.